Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Fan Show. What a week it has been for Tottenham Hotspur and what a day it has been for Tottenham Hotspur, because Spurs have just announced the signing of Javi Simmons on a long-term contract. Now, that is 3 first-team starters signed in this transfer window, and I think a number of Spurs fans have got a huge smile on their face today. Jed Spence has also been named in Thomas Tuchel's England squad for the very first time, and Tottenham face Bournemouth on Saturday afternoon. Now, if you'd like to get involved in one of these fan shows, please do send me an email. It is tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and it will be great to talk to you. Now, before we get our first guest on, here is the interview, the first ever interview as a Tottenham Hotspur player from Javi Simmons.
Really happy as well for my family. We've been dreaming this long time ago, so my whole family, the most important people for me, they are here with me. Always in my career, they've been with me, so being with them and this moment is just a special moment. First of all, the project, I think it suits with me, and yeah, the second thing, I think the most important thing for me is the coach. I spoke to him, he showed me a presentation that really impacted me, and that was the final decision for me, like, okay, the right coach, right people, and I think, and I really believe in that we'll achieve really good things here. I'm a really disciplined guy. And then, of course, the skills, the flair. Yeah, and I just want to work hard and to win. That's my main goal, and to give everything with the fans as well. The dedication will always be there, for sure. The hard work will be there. And obviously, I think I need to be happy. I need to be in a place that I know, okay, I can develop with the players, but not only with them, with the coach as well, with the staff. And that's for me the most important, to try to have my best version of myself. I was born in Amsterdam, then I grew up in Spain, then I made a step to Paris. And Paris was the first professional steps, and then I went to PSV. Then it shaped me in a way of playing consistent, and that was really important for me with a coach like Ruud van Nistelrooy. And then obviously I made a step to Germany, and playing 2 seasons full Bundesliga, Champions League, and having that experience. So now it's time to come here, and I think it's the time to show it. The atmosphere is, I think, the best atmosphere in the world, and obviously the fans having a big role in it. I've never been. I've seen some videos. Some of my family already went and they saw it, and my little sister as well. The only reaction that I had was like, wow, it's crazy. So if she said that, I believe it. I cannot wait to go there in front of the fans, and I'm waiting for tomorrow. Then we'll see a full crowd. So it really gives me goosebumps, and I cannot wait to start.
Now, they were the first words from Javi Simmons as a new Tottenham Hotspur player. We can confirm, though, that he wasn't registered in time and he is still waiting for his work permit. So he will be unveiled in front of the fans at the Bournemouth game on Saturday, but he will not feature for Thomas Frank's side. So it will be the West Ham away game after the international break, when we may see Javi Simmons for the very first time in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt. Now I'm going to go straight to my first guest, and this one is my right-hand man, channel regular, here every single day, Craig Dearman. Craig, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Good day, isn't it? A good day. And all the doubters, I was one of them, by the way. We got Javi Simmons over the line. We both probably must have reported on him. People got sick of hearing his name. Probably, we're never going to sign him. We did sign him.
Craig, this is a real statement signing. Now, you and I are always calling for statement signings. We're always calling for exciting signings, not necessarily big, money players, but players who can excite, players who have got the flair, players who are really going to entertain the fans. And this is a player that is certainly going to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a young player, and we, like you say, we've been calling for experienced players, but this player, when you watch, if you haven't watched, you might not know much about him. I didn't know tons and tons about him. I hadn't seen him play tons and tons of times, but I know anybody can look good on a YouTube reel, but this player is a special player, make no bones about it. And the goal he scored against England at the Euros, didn't he? Absolute banger. And he's only going to get better. What I like about him, he's direct. He can dribble with the ball. We know Kudos can dribble with the ball as well. But, Javi Simmons, he's close control, the way he's fast as well, forward thinking. He's just a complete midfield player, really.
Daniel Harris writes here, now give me Savinho and Akanji. Do you think this is Tottenham done now? Because I saw various other reports today, Craig, that Spurs are still after a couple more players, a left winger, even a defender. Could we do any more in the next 3 days?
I think they're going to be trying. I genuinely do. I think they're going to be trying working over the weekend. I mean, they obviously worked through the night. We were speaking earlier, weren't we? And, this was announced the early hours of the morning, the news broke, as I say. They're going to have a go at certainly getting in another attacker. We know they've wanted a centre-back that can also play left-back. Obviously, that's a Kanji or Ake to a T, isn't it? So either of them, I'd like a Kanji, but Ake, I'm not sure how would he qualify for homegrown status. Obviously, there's issues with the 17 foreign players you have in your Champions League squad, so that's going to, somebody's going to be disappointed. Even now, if we weren't to sign anybody, let alone bringing in any more foreign players, shall we say? So that's going to be an issue for Frank to deal with. But I think there's a chance. I mean, I read a tweet today that I don't know how true it was that Savinho was a bit miffed that City weren't allowing him to leave for Tottenham. Obviously, it could just be press talk, but there's the three players there, or four if you include Akanji, Ake, Savinho, and Lookman. We've talked about as well. So two from those, I think it's a 10 out of 10 window personally.
Craig, before I ask you the next question, Thomas Frank on signing Javi Simmons, he's come out and said, I'm really pleased we have brought Javi in. He is a great addition to the squad. He is still young. However, he already has good experience and over the past few years has played a lot of games at the top level. Javi has proven his ability to get goals and assists, both from the number 10 position and the left wing. It's so important, isn't it? I know that we have spoken about this at length in the last couple of months, certainly. Particularly with the injury of James Maddison, Kulusevski being out as well. This number 10 role was absolutely vital that Spurs brought in the right player. And what I'd also like to say as well is that we have recorded a number of fan shows, a number of podcasts, and, the amount of work that you and I do on this channel. A lot of the fans that have come on have said, whoever comes in now that we didn't get Eze over the line would be a downgrade. I want to underline this is certainly not a downgrade, is it?
Certainly isn't. And yeah, you're right. I mean, we all spoke. We've had, in our chat group, people have said anybody that comes in is going to feel a bit meh. This doesn't at all. This feels like the club mean business. They've actually gone out and bought a player that is at the top of his game, but he's got 4 or 5 years before he's at his peak, so to speak, but he's already at a level that is brilliant. I don't know what other word to use. He's been playing he's played in the Champions League. He's got all that experience at such a young age as well. He's ready for the Premier League. He is ready for the Premier League. Make no bones about it. He's not going to get bullied. You sometimes see players from foreign leagues come over and just disappear. I don't think that's going to happen with him. This is a massive play. And I think it was important we brought in a number 10 regardless of Maddison's injury, because Kulusevski, rumours are he could be out till after Christmas. And he's not going to be to full speed. If it is January, he's going to be February, March. And, it's towards the end of the season before he really hits, or certainly Easter before he hits full form. And Maddison, as I say, he's probably going to be out for majority of the season. So very important signing. They've got it done. I still want a couple more in if we can, but very pleased with this one.
Thomas Frank, also talking about Javi Simmons, said he has a great eye for his teammates in terms of unlocking defences, and I know that he will come in and be a part of a good team that is already working hard together. It's a shame, isn't it, Craig, that he didn't get registered in time, hasn't got his work permit yet. He will be unveiled in front of the fans against Bournemouth on Saturday, but I suppose we're going to have to wait for a nice easy game for him to play West Ham away after the international break.
You've done it now. You've done it now. They always raise our game against us, don't they? They do.
I'm not sure they can this time.
No. Well, they are. Yeah, they're pretty poor, West Ham, at the moment. But yeah, let's not go there. Let's get Bournemouth out of the way first. But it's not a bad thing that he can't play tomorrow. But look, we all would have loved to have seen him pull the shirt on. But he only got here today. Yeah. So he hasn't even probably met half the players. So he's got he will have a couple of weeks. Well, I say he'll have a couple of weeks to meet them all. Of course, they're going on international duty, a lot of them. So probably him included. So he's got to settle into the country. We all think, we get straight in the team, but players move in, and they get given a luxury houses and all that, and nice cars and all that. But you still got to settle somewhere, haven't you? So he's going to have a nice settling in period, bit of training as well with the squad before the game against West Ham, and hopefully he might even get a start against West Ham. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
What a number to wear, Craig. Javi Simmons will wear the number 7 shirt. Sonny has wore it at Spurs for the last 10 years. What shoes to fill wearing that number 7?
Yeah, and he's hinted at that already, hasn't he? In his chats with the club and the interview. Big shoes to fill, without a doubt. But I don't think that's going to weigh heavily on him. I think he's going to embrace it and realise what that means. I'm not sure what number he wore. He's worn before at his previous clubs, but obviously the 7 at Spurs after Son Heung-min, that's a big number to take on, isn't it? So yeah, let's hope he can do. If he can do half as well as Sonny did for the club, he's doing all right, isn't he?
We very often talk about, bringing in experienced players, and Ange Postecoglou hinted at this heavily in his last couple of press conferences, saying that, this window is all about experience. When you look at Mohamed Kudus, Premier League experience, you look at João Palhinha, Premier League experience, and these 2 players, Craig, it's very fair to say, have fitted in so well. They've walked into this starting 11 and they have made a real impact, a real difference at the football club. Now, Javi Simmons, only 22 years old, like Thomas Frank said there, he's got a lot of really good experience and played at the top level at the very young age of 22.
Yeah. And it was important to bring in that experience. And we can all see what Palhinha and Kudus have brought already. They've slotted in like they've been here for years. Almost notable drop-offs, actually, certainly in the PSG game. Obviously, Palhinha still working his way back to full fitness, really. It's a refreshing change. I'll word it like that. It's a refreshing change to bring in people that can just come in, hit the ground running, and make an instant impact. And we want a squad full of those players. And certainly Javi Simmons brings that. He's building a good squad, Thomas Frank, now. There's still work to do. He will say that, and still players to go out the door. But we're getting there. We are getting there. It's been a frustrating couple of months after, the Morgan Gibbs White and Eze stuff. But it's kind of back on track with this signing. It's a huge signing and going to be a really big player for Spurs, without a doubt.
Craig, of course, you've not been on since the Champions League draw. What do you make of the draw? Because I suppose Spurs, when they looked at that draw yesterday, they thought, we need to, get some deals over the line here. And, I know there has been a lot of criticism aimed at Spurs for not getting the business done. But of course, the transfer window ends on the 1st of September on Monday. So I suppose that is the time to judge it. I know there are a lot of very anxious and very angry fans, aiming their frustrations at the club. But they've pulled this one off, and fair play to them. And it's a funny one, isn't it? Some people will say, well, he's only signed for Spurs because Chelsea didn't make an offer. Why do you think that was, by the way? Why do you think Chelsea didn't make an offer for
him? I always think they were after Garnacho anyway. That's rumbled on, hasn't it? That's rumbled on all summer. and perhaps they had Javi Simmons as almost like a backup to Garnacho. Why any player, unless they're absolute superstars, would want to go to Chelsea? I don't get it, because they've got a squad of about 50 players there. But, people seem to go there. They probably pay good wages, don't they? That's probably what it's all about. But it's a funny one with Chelsea. Really interesting. One of the reporters came out and said Chelsea are not going to make a late bid for Javi Simmons because they've built bridges with Tottenham over the last few years, and they don't want to destroy that relationship. What a load of rubbish. I was reading it. I was like, really? What bridges have they built? Seriously? And that's just I think the reporter's a Chelsea fan, by the way. I don't... if they look, bottom line, if they wanted him, they would have got him. I think that's probably what would have happened. And we've just moved, and finally we've won a little race there, haven't we? We've got the player in over another team, so it's all good.
Are you pleased with the Champions League draw, though?
Oh yeah, definitely. It could have been harder. But hey, look, there's no easy games in that Champions League. But I think we've got a decent draw. We've got a very, very good chance of progressing in that competition, without a doubt. So I think if we can win our home games and then take it from there.
Now, Craig, let me ask you about Jed Spence, because in my opinion, and I've been saying this on the podcast for at least the last 6 months or so, Jed Spence has been named in the England squad for the very first time for Thomas Tuchel. About time, isn't it? Because he has been absolutely fantastic, certainly in this calendar year of 2025.
Oh, he's fully deserved. He's we was calling, or I think most Spurs fans were calling for him to be included in squads before this, but he's finally got his chance. He's got his just rewards. He's done so well for Tottenham over the last season and a half, 2 seasons really, since he's come back in under Ange. So fully deserved. I just hope he does get a run out. Actually, I really hope Tuchel actually uses him in this international break. That'd be great to see. Yeah, and the fact Trent isn't there, of course. So that does he see him as a right back or left back? That's an interesting one.
Absolutely. And he never, ever looks out of position on that left-hand side. It's funny what you just said there. Let me pick you up on what you just said. You said, let's hope that Thomas Tuchel uses him. It's funny because when I put out a video the other day about Richarlison, great for Richarlison getting back in the Brazil squad, a number of Spurs fans replied and went, no, it's not good. We don't want him to play because we really wanted him rested. Thomas Frank seems to be looking after him really well at the moment. And it's always a worry, isn't it? Always a worry for us Spurs fans that everything's going so well. You know, we're winning games. Thomas Frank looks the business. We're getting in transfers now. We just don't want any injuries during this international break. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You're happy your players have been called up for their national teams, yet you don't really want it. You just want them to get 5-10 minutes at the end or something like that. So it's like I say, it's a double-edged sword. But hopefully all our players can come back fit, especially the likes of Richarlison, who's obviously had his injury issues. But like I say, I really would love to see Jed Spence get a run out for England as well. He just fully deserves it. If there's one player that deserves it, it's Jed Spence. So, yeah, good luck to him. Well done. Craig, lastly, of course, on Saturday it will all be about Javi Simmons sitting in the crowd or even on the bench with some of the injured players, I expect. That's a normal thing that they've done in the last couple of years. Score prediction for the Bournemouth game, you confident? I am actually. Yeah, I'm predicting 9 points out of a possible 9 before the international break. So I am going to go 3-1 Tottenham. I think we are going to concede our first goal of the season, but I think we're going to win 3-1. Well, what a start that would be in the Premier League for Thomas Frank and Spurs. 3 out of 3, 9 points going into the international break. Let's hope that happens. Craig, have a great weekend and we will talk to you soon. Cheers, Chris, and thanks everyone for all the support and everyone that's subscribed lately. Unbelievable numbers. Long way to continue. See it. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, Craig. See you later. See you soon. Right, we're now going to go to Australia and we're going to talk to Phil, who I believe is talking to us in the middle of the morning. Phil, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks very much for having me on.
Well, Phil, what time is it in Australia there?
I don't normally get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting here an hour because it is now 25 to 5, and it's middle of winter.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on. How are you feeling right now as a Tottenham Hotspur fan? And, of course, you being in Australia, talk me through how people are feeling there about Ange going and Thomas Frank coming in, and now there have been a lot of dramatic changes at the football club.
Well, I mean, personally, I get a lot of things on the Gold Coast Oz Spurs site. So they're texting all the time, but they seem to be really excited about it, and quite rightly so. I just wish we wouldn't drag it on for so long. I had a full head of hair before the start of this, the shopping season, and I hate it. I hate it. I want to go back to the old days where you didn't know we'd signed anyone till they were signed. I'm getting so old now. There was a story about Ralph Coates. This is 71, and they signed him in the car park in the back of the blinking hotel, in Jimmy Addison's car to get Ralph Coates. And I remember my dad coming in one morning with a newspaper. Spurs scooped the world, 78, and there's our dealers on it. And that's the first time we'd heard about it.
Yeah.
So I think a social network is a real
I
for an
I know what you mean, Phil. I remember in '94 getting that newspaper with Jurgen Klinsmann on the back of the newspaper. Just could not believe it. And like you say, there was no rumours, reports, whatever. Then it was just on the back page, holding up the shirt, and you were like, wow. Oh my God, that is amazing. But talking about signings, Phil, how are you feeling about Javi Simmons? Because we've gone through so many names in this transfer window so far. Morgan Gibbs-White, Eze, Savinio, but now finally we have a statement signing. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, it's a fantastic signing. What is it? He's the same age as when we signed Sonny, 22, but he's got experience.
Yeah,
he can put his foot on the ball. He can spray the ball around. It's great having wingers, but you've got to get the balls to them all the time. So it's like getting another Glenn Hoddle or Mickey Hazard, and that's important. The ones who control the game, because I like Maddison, I like Kulusevski, but they don't always appear to control the ball, the center of attention all the time. They come in and out. So I think that's exactly what we need. I don't know where we're going to put them though, because that midfield with Polino, Bentancur and Pepe Sarr has been fantastic, really strong. I think they might start increasing the numbers of players you can have on the pitch at one time.
It's such a great problem to have, though, isn't it, for a manager and a football club to have so many good players? Because we've spoken on this show and on this podcast for the last couple of years, certainly about the depth, having options, and when you hear the club coming out, in the last couple of months saying, we want to be fighting on all fronts. This is exactly what we need, Phil. And I said this on a show the other day. I was like, how can Spurs go through this summer transfer window and not bring in a number 10? I'd be absolutely baffled if that did happen. And now, of course, we've got our number 10 that we wanted. And as I said to Craig earlier, we have brought in a real statement signing here. This is a player that possesses a lot of really good experience. And he is someone that is going to really excite the fans.
Exactly. And being Tottenham supporters, that's what we want. We want the man of the match to be the opposing team's goalkeeper, because it means we've been attacking all the time and kept them busy. That's Tottenham tradition, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what we want. It is fantastic news. Absolutely fantastic. And because after Eze and Morgan Gibbs-White and that sort of thing, I don't want to know about social network until he's got the shirt on and he's signed it and we've got him there. I'm sick and tired of listening to gossip. I feel like a medieval washerwoman hearing about woman being a witch down the road, you know. So it's now it's exciting. Now we've got a really good, strong thing. Obviously, we want more players in, but if we can sign players like Javi and Kudus and that sort of thing, it may start opening up other players things for coming to Tottenham and not just going to Chelsea and Liverpool and whoever.
This is exactly the sort of window us fans wanted, though, Phil, isn't it? We wanted players with experience. We, of course, wanted players with flair and the ability to, create chances, score goals, etc. But we have brought in 3 players, 3 starters. How confident at the start of the window were you that the club would bring in 3 players that would walk straight into this team? Because this is exactly, I said this at the start of the window, we need players to be walking straight into the team. Of course, we need depth as well, but you need players to improve the team instantly. And this is exactly what Spurs have done. And fair play to the football club for doing it, because there has been a lot of criticism aimed at Tottenham. And like you've said, if we can get 1 or 2 more in before Monday's deadline, I tell you what, this might even be one of the best windows we've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, because at the start of it, you've got Daniel Levy saying we want to win the Champions League, we want to win the league. I mean, even I haven't seen us win the league, and I'm old. So it would be really nice to do that. But then the muck about with the sacking of Ange, they wasted 3 weeks at the start of the window where they didn't do anything. Then they mucked about with Forest and Palace and that sort of thing. So my heart is coming back down to a decent rate now, because it really could drive you mad. But that's what being a Spurs supporter is all about.
Well, it's amazing, Phil, isn't it? Where everyone can seem so down, and then a signing like this can just get everyone up again, get everyone very excited again. And the Champions League draw, of course, took place yesterday. Everyone's excited about that. We want to be fighting on all fronts. But when talking about the Champions League, what do you make of the draw? Because there seems to be
that's a pretty good draw, actually. But the one thing I am concerned about with the Champions League is we've let all our youngsters go out on loan, and I know they've got to get experience and everything else, but we haven't got enough homegrown players. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because I think the other night, Fox, he was saying, I think we're down to 9. And, I thought, well, hold on a second. Liverpool are suddenly bringing on a 16-year-old the other night, scores the winning goal. You then got Arsenal brought on a 15-year-old, and Mikey Moore's up playing with a great team like Rangers. I know they've got to get experience and Lanarkshire and that sort of thing, but surely we should have kept a couple of homegrown players, because I don't know what we're going to do about that. We could lose one of our bulk players in the squad if we don't have enough homegrown players. Is that right?
Yeah, the other thing I would say, Phil, on that is at the start of the summer, they obviously made a number of changes within the backroom staff for Thomas Frank, and Stuart Lewis coming in now, working in between the first team and the development side. And I've quite often said that whenever I go to a lot of the development games, in the past, the managers have always been there. Never ever saw Ange Postecoglou at any of the development games in the last couple of years. Thomas Frank, haven't seen him there yet, but I believe that he will. And I believe that link with Stuart Lewis with the development side and the first team, I believe that we will see more youth coming through the system, certainly in the next 12 months. I really do hope that happens, because, it's great to see some of your own coming through the academy and getting minutes. And we did see that last year under Ange, in the Europa League, with a number of players doing so, although he didn't ever go to those games. How excited are you about this season, Phil? Because, of course, we've won 2 out of 2 in the Premier League. I know no one's getting carried away at this point, but Thomas Frank, it's fair to say that he plays a very, very different system than Ange Postecoglou last year. Ange, of course, delivered us a trophy. I'm never, ever going to be dissing Ange on this channel, but it is very different under Thomas Frank. And we know that he can, change in a game. We know that he can change game by game.
Well, that's what I like about it. The man is intelligent, he's articulate, seems like a good bloke. And you can see that if the players have taken to him, then he must be a good bloke, and they can see the strength he has to develop them. But what I like most is the fact that he can vary the squad depending on the opposition. That's what's so great about it. The fact that it's because I don't want them coming out and they can all see they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do the other, and the opposition just go and batter us. And I don't like to say excited about that. I don't want to put the mockers on it. I always get the mick taken out of me from other supporters. Like you get a Man United supporter, and I say, oh, well, typical Man United supporter. You live about the average distance from Old Trafford as most Man United supporters, when living on the Gold Coast. But the fact of the matter is, though we don't, you say, you don't win a lot. I said, no. But when we do, the party is unbelievable.
Yeah.
As proven with the thing to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when they brought the cup and that sort of thing.
The parade, yeah, it was incredible.
And that's what it's all about. Look, I've seen chairmen come and go, managers come and go, players come and go. But we're the supporters. We're the ones who stay around, and we're the ones who should be respected for that. And it's our team. It's not some massive multi-million corporation. It's our team. And they should therefore treat supporters with the same respect as they treat the shareholders, in my opinion. And that's it. It's going to be so good. I mean, remember, we got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. We didn't do that. We had a bad league season, and I think the players were just exhausted, to be honest. But that depth in squad is definitely going to help. That means you can always give people a rest and move them around, and they know their jobs. And also, you've got to look at Richarlison. He's like buying a new player.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's only 2 games in, and I'm waiting for him to, God forbid, get injured again or whatever. But seeing a fully fit Richie is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it gives Solanke time to recover properly. And that's what I like about it, is they're being properly managed by Frank, which I think he's doing a great job with in 2 games. Hope I'm saying this in May. That's what I'm hoping for, because remember, Ange won, we were top of the table, 10 games in, everything's going rosy, and then we play bloody Chelsea and it all goes pear-shaped and sendings off and all the rest of it. But
Phil, last question for you. What rating out of 10 would you give this transfer window if it closed tonight?
Well, the beginning of the week it was about a 4. Now it's shot up to a 7 or 8. They got that player, that player in. They obviously, if they're looking for a left winger, then I quite like Mano Solomon, but I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, he plays a year with Leeds, no problems at all. Immediately comes back to us and gets injured again. So, but we've got. I'd just like to see Brennan Johnson, who's got this fantastic knack of scoring. He's in the right place at the right time, which you almost can't teach. It's instinct.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see him take on a player and roast them and get past them like a winger on occasions. Doesn't seem to be able to do that at the moment. That's my only problem with Johnson. But they're good players. They're coming together, and you saw them when they won the Europa League. The fact that they are a true team together, supporting each other, and I think that's important as well. And I think that makes a difference, and that's how it's perceived by me. So
Phil, great to talk to you. Try and get some sleep, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No, but thanks ever so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
I'm getting much sleep this season. I've been having to talk to you on here.
It's nice to talk to someone from Australia again, because the numbers have really gone down since Andrew's gone, as you can imagine.
No, of course, but then again, it happens. But thanks ever so much. Great show.
Thanks Phil.
Craig and all the other regulars and everything, and hope to speak to you again soon. All right.
Absolutely. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye. Right, regarding ratings, Brooke says here 8.6. Paul G says 8 out of 10. Reese says 7. Still need 2 more for a great window. And Neil says, it's been a good day when Chris has that smile around his chops. Now, of course, we're all smiling today. We're all smiling. And Steve's smiling from Czech Republic. Steve, how are you?
Well, I should be. I'm actually smirking. Sorry for the pun. Yeah, no, I'm absolutely over the phone. Probably got the camera down. Hold on a sec. Yeah, right. See my head now, which is not worth watching. Yeah, over the moon. Yeah. Living up to my name now. You did that at the beginning, actually. You did a smirk at the beginning. So
well, you've got to be smiling when you've had days like this. But it's been a really good. I feel like it's been a really good week, Steve, because of course that win at City last weekend. Of course, we've had the Carabao Cup draw, which I think is really favourable for Spurs. We had the Champions League draw, and now we've had this news about Javi Simmons signing. Can it be better? Can this week get better by winning on Saturday and perhaps signing 1 or 2 more before Monday?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. I definitely think we'll win on Saturday. As Craig alluded to, I think he said 3-1. I'd roughly the same. I mean, I'd go 4-1. I actually think we're going to concede, and I think, Simo will get the goal. I was watching their previous 2 games. The first game they had against Wolves, although, I mean, let's face it, Wolves are a poor side this season, at least so far. They only had 10 men for most of the second half, and they sort of just scraped it at home 1-0. The Liverpool game, they were quite dangerous before Liverpool scored. They were getting round the back against Simo, and I think it was Taverner missed an absolute sitter, was pulled back to him. So they're dangerous on the attack, but their defence was really abysmal. I mean, it wasn't anything special, especially the Liverpool's 3rd and 4th goals. There's people running into the box and they weren't getting challenged. Yes, over the moon, going back to your first question. And yeah, I'd like to see, obviously, at least 2 more players. The ones that have already been mentioned, obviously, Lookman up front, Akanji or Ake. Out of the 2, I don't really follow, Man City that much. It'd be nice maybe to have Ake. It would be another fellow countryman for Van der Ven at the back. Although obviously the age difference, I don't think they've ever played together. In fact, they're Dutch, doesn't mean they're going to play together. But I don't think even in the national side they played together. But yeah, I was over the moon when it was finally, because I had people texting me and I was saying, don't text me about it's probably going to happen. It might happen, the signing, I mean. And so until it was done, then I started to react. Yeah, absolutely over the moon. I think he is a better signing than Eze. He's got far more experience in Europe. I've watched, obviously, like most fans, I've watched some clips of him now and watched some before, actually, but I watched them again. And he can play across the front 3. I watched him as a central striker as well, which is interesting. People talking about maybe Richie will get injured or what have you. And he can mix it up. He's got a low sense of gravity, not quite the same as Kudus, but I noticed when people were trying to pull him off the ball, pulling shirts in the games he was playing in Germany and before that in Holland for PSV, that he's not one of these players that rolls around or, looks for the foul. He's more like Kudos. He'll try and shrug them off and continue the run. He wants to get forward. And I like that in a forward. I don't like people, hamming up and rolling around on the floor. So
he's a very, very hard-working player as well, Steve, defensively,
yeah.
and we've seen that from Mohamed Kudus already in the games that he's played for Spurs under Thomas Frank. But in this in any Thomas Frank system, he demands a lot defensively from players, and Javi Simmons certainly offers that as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously that's why he's agreed to him come in and chose him. So we get that defensive side of it, because all the the top teams, if you look at, I would say the top the teams that do well in the Premier League over the years, their wingers, their wide men come back. They chase back. Even the good example of that is I'm going to forget his name again now. The guy from Newcastle, the blonde lad. He's very fast, but he chases back. He harries people and gets back. And the Liverpool players do that as well. Even Salah, you'll see him coming back and helping the midfield. And I think that's it's long gone as the days when you could be a lazy winger and just hug the touchline and wait for the ball and try to put a ball into the middle or make a run. No, it's as I think it was Phil alluded to, that we're more of a team now. It's more. There's a lot of passion there, especially after winning Europa League last season. But that was building, as I said when I met you in London. That it seems to me that something's happening within the squad. And they've definitely got a unity since then, and they've kept it. And now they're embracing the new players, and I think they can really do really well this season. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Steve, how pleased are you that Richie's back in the Brazil squad? And of course, today it was announced by Thomas Tuchel that he has included Jed Spence in the England squad, which I think is very well deserved, isn't it?
It is very well deserved. You've got to look at it, from the player's point of view as well. It's all well and good, and I used to do it with Harry Kane all the time, is to worry about our players when they play for national teams. But you've got to look at it from their perspective. It's an honour for them. They're playing in front of their own, people, as it were, or for their country. Very well deserved. Jed Spence should have been a bit earlier, but there you go. There he is. And hopefully Richie as well, and anyone else that's playing for their national team, don't get injured. I think when you're just playing these kind of friendlies or qualification games, then there's a bit more of a rotation from the manager. So hopefully a lot of these players will not be playing a hard game, if you like, too many minutes. Be more like 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, and then they get swapped and changed around until it gets to a serious phase of the competition.
Yeah, it's worth noting as well that Javi Simmons and Mickey van der Ven have been included in the latest Netherlands squad as well. Steve, how are you feeling about this Bournemouth game? And does this signing change your outlook on this season? Because I know it's funny, isn't it? How one signing, one moment can really change people, their attitude, their positivity, their negativity, how they feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. After not the debacle, but what happened last season, we're only too well aware that we haven't got depth in the squad. And we didn't I think a lot of us were also thinking that, like has been alluded to, that we wouldn't end up getting players of decent quality or anyone to match or be better than, for example, Eze, his name was bandied about. I think that was a big worry as well. We were just going to be getting bargain basement levy signings. So it's an absolute shot in the arm for the fan base. For me personally, I'm really looking forward to it now. Like I say, just one more, obviously two would be better, but one more signing, another. I would say another 10, but even another defender to cover at the back on the left-hand side, central defender. I would be really happy with that. So for me at the moment, the window is now, same as Phil, has gone from like a 3-4 to 7.5, out of 10. Very pleased. Yeah, absolutely looking forward to games now. Looking forward to the rest of the season. It's very interesting. We haven't spent the money that Manchester United have spent, and look what's happening to them. It tells you it's all well and good, bringing this one, bringing that one, but it's about the squad. It's about a team, because they never used to. They used to build a team, United, and they just faded and faded. It's shown a lot of money at it, but it's not proved to be, the what do you call it, the answer. So we're really happy. Champions League.
Steve, lastly, I was going to say Champions League. How excited are you hearing that Champions League music again?
Yeah,
because it's been a couple of years.
It has been a couple of years. I've because I only started going last season to the stadium, living here and being retired and what have you, and so I started going when we in the early stages of the Europa League, as you know. Really looking forward to be able to hear that. Well, I did see a game. Sorry, I saw a Dead Rubber in Germany in 2000, and I think it was 19 at the end of the season. In Munich, when we played Bayern Munich, I think we lost 3-1. But there's Slavia Prague there. I was hoping we'd get them at home here in Czech, and I would get to the stadium in Prague. But no, we've got them away, and Arsenal will be coming to Prague. So I'm trying to get a ticket so I can be at the other end with the Slavia fans. Now, obviously, I'll try and get over for as many games as possible. Yeah, fantastic. I think the draw's been very favourable.
Yep.
We've got PSG. We've already drawn with them in 90 minutes. I think we'll go through, but we need to keep our feet on the ground. I was going through it like most people, and different people were doing it last night on different shows. Yeah, all the home games will be wins. We're getting all overconfident now. All the home games will be wins. Yeah, we might even draw with PSG. We played Frankfurt before and beaten them. Let's be serious. The only away game I would think definitely is Bodo Glimt, and Monaco. Probably we should win that. But we will go through. We don't have to be top of the group. I think we'll do very well, and. Looking forward to it.
I think Thomas Frank will certainly manage everyone's minutes. I think he's very, very good at that as well. Steve, thank you so much for joining us yet again, and thanks so much for all of your support and input on the channel.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, I really enjoy coming on, and the program's the best to do. Anything to do with Spurs is fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, mate.
Thank you so much. We'll speak to you soon.
See you again. Yeah, 4-1
Cheers.
Tottenham on Saturday. 4-1. Cheers.
Brilliant. Right. We're now going to go to John in Canada. John, how are you?
Doing all right, thank you. Doing a lot better.
I tell you, we're getting around the world today. I love it. I love these shows, talking to people all around the world. John, what do you make of this signing, Javi Simmons? You must be delighted because it's been a long time coming. We wanted a statement signing all summer. We got Hamid Kudus at the start of the window. We've now got Javi Simmons. Of course, we've got Jalplina on loan as well. 3 starters to walk into this starting 11, which is fantastic for Thomas Frank, isn't it?
It's certainly a step up from last season. A major improvement. I'm happier with this guy than I was with Eze. If you remember, you asked me about Eze, and I was not at all happy about him. I thought Eze, the guy from Crystal Palace.
Who?
Yeah, him that we've all forgotten about. So I'm pleased this guy has come in. I think he looks a lot more Tottenham than Mr. Eze did. And hopefully he's going to be a success. Yeah. And he's got a number 7 on his back. He's got a lot to live up to, hasn't he?
He has indeed. What do you make of that, John? Do you read anything into numbers?
No, I think it's a lot of old nonsense. But there you go. We've all got to have a number. If you play for a team, we've all got to have a number on your back. I always went for the number 4, mainly because I did. Even now, the old shirt I've got upstairs, it's got Blanchflower on the back and number 4. But okay,
yeah,
we all live in these traditions, and so. We've all got to have a number. I laugh at these teams who they say, "Oh, we're going to retire the shirt," and they hang it up somewhere, and everybody gives some sort of adulation to it. It's not the shirt; it's the player inside it that matters.
Absolutely.
And,
What have you, John? What have you made of the transfer window so far? Because I think if you'd have asked a lot of people at the start of the window, and if you would have told them that we're going to sign 3 players that are going to walk straight into this starting 11, and they're going to be real impact players. You know, we've seen this with João Palhinha already. We've seen this with Mohamed Kudus already. We're expecting this certainly with the reputation and what we've seen of Javi Simmons previously. They're 3 good signings, aren't they? What rating would you give this window out of 10 with these 3?
I'd give it a 7 plus out of 10. Would we have expected this in May? Probably not. We would like to have seen it in June, and we would like to have seen it in July, would we not? Not leaving it to the last minute as ever.
Yeah.
That what worries me is this sort of, who the hell can we get in? It's the last minute. The window's going to close on Labour Day. What the heck are we going to do? And now we've signed this lad today, which is the Friday. We've got Saturday and Sunday, and a bit of Monday to pick up these extra bits and pieces, shall we say? Why on earth can we not do that? July, August, early August, going into the season and settle the team down before the start of the season.
Those players, John, that we did nearly sign, Morgan Gibbs-White, everyone was very excited about. Eze, everyone was very, very excited about. You know, sadly, them 2 didn't get over the line. Okay, most people. And, you know, now Javi Simmons, everyone is very excited. And I said to Craig earlier that a lot of people said that whoever comes in now would be a downgrade. This certainly isn't a downgrade. And I also said a couple of weeks ago, or certainly when the Eze deal fell through, we were like, well, Spurs need to, you know, pull something out of the hat now. They need to, you know, have something up their sleeve. And they certainly did do that. And fair play to the football club for identifying and getting this deal over the line, because I've no doubt that there were other clubs interested in him.
Well, Chelsea were interested. I can't figure that one out. Chelsea seemed to be in a pole position, yet somehow or other they fell away. Now, what Craig said there, they were probably interested in other players, and this was their backup position. Should their first choices not make it? Fair enough. We picked him up and snatched him under their noses, which I guess it was okay. They've done it to us a number of times before, haven't they, Chelsea? We have not forgotten a lot of what they've done in terms of coming in and snatching players under our noses. So to take one off of Chelsea, fair enough. It's a pity we can't take one off the mob down the road in red as well, just to make it. Just to make our day. But
John,
you know, the team looks stronger this year, far stronger this year than what we had going into that final. Yeah. And for that matter, okay, let's hope we keep going forward. And we've also got players who are injured that still to come back. Let's not forget we've got Maddison. What are we going to do with him when he comes back?
Yeah,
we've
good
got
question.
Kulusevski. What are we going to do with him when he comes back? You know, these are all concerns that we've got to face 6-7 months down the road now, perhaps.
Daniel writes here, I love watching a 60-second update when Chris has a smile on his face. Let's hope that I'm smiling a lot more, Daniel, in the future, certainly this season. John, last question for you. I'm going to put this the team on the screen now. This is the team that faced City last week. Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Spence, Sarr, Palhinha, Bentancur, Kudus, Richarlison and Johnson. What changes do you think that Thomas Frank will make, if any, for Saturday's game against Bournemouth?
I think he'd be sensible and put that team out again. Go into the international break and come back and make his changes when we go to West Ham.
So same team again?
Yeah.
Yeah. You confident of a win?
Tomorrow? 4-0.
Yep. Wow. Well, another clean sheet.
I'd love it. I mean, we need to go into the international break, top of the league, with a win behind us. Come back and meet the new manager at West Ham. See who comes in there.
Do you know what, John? I absolutely love recording these fan shows to talk to people like you all around the world, and it's so easy when we're winning. It's so easy when we're signing players. It's so easy when everyone's smiling. Yeah. John, stay safe and well, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Chris. Thanks very much. Take care.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Javi. Javi, is this your real name, or is this just for today?
Just for today, mate. Just for today. I'm not quite as good as him by any stretch.
How are you feeling about this signing? Because, like I've just said, everyone's feeling on top of the world today.
Mate, I am absolutely buzzing. I'm gassed, honestly. Do you know what? I was on the fan show when
it's Gary, isn't it? Gary.
Yeah. when Ezzy got snatched from us right at the death with Craig, and I said to Craig, now the only thing Tottenham can do to make up for this is to sign Javi Simmons. You ask him, I promise you. Yeah. Look back, and he said, "Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?" And I'll tell you what, wow, absolutely buzzing, Chris, buzzing. It
had to happen, though, Gary, didn't it? It had to happen that Spurs, it was an absolute must on the top of the to-do list to sign a number 10 in this window. But it's so nice how everyone is buzzing around this signing because, as Thomas Frank said, he's only 22 years old, but he has some great experience and he's played in some fantastic and big games, I might add. And, not only is he a player for now, he is a player for the future. They've signed him on a long-term contract. It just seems the right thing to do. It seems a very exciting deal for everyone concerned.
Absolutely. I think he's a top player. Top. I mean, you don't have to watch a few of his clips. I mean, I've been following him for a few years now. And I'm just so impressed with him. I mean, you imagine, right, if we never got him, if he went to Chelsea and we bought someone like Paqueta, just for argument's sake, it would have felt like a downgrade in comparison to the Ezzy scenario. But now we've got, like you said earlier, Javi Simmons. I mean, I personally believe it's an upgrade. I really do. I think he's got so much potential. I'm just super excited. I can't wait to see him in a Tottenham shirt, doing his thing on the pitch.
Gary, the Champions League draw, what do you make of it? Because, the club, Thomas Frank, all of us fans, everyone seems to be very happy with the draw because it could have been so much worse. And when you look at some of the English teams of the teams they will be facing, I know, don't get me wrong, there is no easy game in the Champions League, but if you were to literally hand pick the teams, I think a lot of Spurs fans would have chosen exactly what we got.
Absolutely, totally agree. I think it's easy to say, isn't it? On paper, it looks really easy, but I think one of you guys said it earlier. There are no easy games in the Champions League, so we've got to be, a bit careful not to get over, But yeah. I personally feel that is, like you say, a very, very favourable draw, and I would totally expect us to go through into the next round. I really would. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway.
Do you think that a lot of us feel that optimism with that Champions League draw because of that Super Cup game in the way that we played against PSG? Absolutely.
I mean, we played really well. I mean, that was the first glimpse, a proper glimpse, really, of the Thomas Frank team. We obviously set up in a way that I thought was perfect for that particular game. And then obviously against Burnley and last week as well against Man City, he's kind of chopping it and changing it up a bit, little tweaks here and there, in game, prior to the game. It's brilliant. And I don't certainly that them games that we've got in the Champions League, I don't fear anybody in particular. Not even PSG, to be honest with you. We've already given them a good run for their money. I'm sure they'll be a lot better than that. I mean, they are a world-class team, aren't they? They're the best team in Europe, obviously. They're probably the only ones really, but I think the rest of them, they're all winnable games. Certainly the ones at home, you pick up a few, one or two away, and you're there, aren't you, really?
Gary, what have you made of Thomas Frank and the changes that he has made since he's been Spurs boss? I know it's early days, but what have you made of the changes that he's made at the club?
I think he's been a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm like you. I'm loath to diss Ange. You know, he won us a trophy. You know, so it's a bit comical really to sort of slag him off, dare I say. But I think Thomas Frank is. I don't want to diss Ange, but Thomas Frank is levels. For me, it's levels. When you look at the way he sets the team up, the way he patrols his technical area, he's always talking with his coaches are talking to the players, how he changes stuff up in game. You know, it's just, you know, he just reacts to everything, and he's actually very proactive as well. He can see little things going on, and he'll just tweak it just a bit to sort of put us in a position where we nullify what's going on. You know, I think he's an excellent manager. He's a top human being as well. When you listen to him speak, he communicates really well. He's a likable guy. The players have clearly bought into what he's trying to put into place. So yeah, nothing but impressed, Chris. Nothing but impressed.
Gary, lastly, Orkay here from Turkey says, what about Basuma going to Fenerbahce or Galatasaray? It did look like he was in talks with Galatasaray and a deal was going to go through, but it seems to have now fallen through. Thomas Frank was asked about this, and he didn't really want to talk about that subject. He just said that he was out injured still, and he would miss the Bournemouth game. Is it time for Yves Basuma to leave? Do you think he will stay at the football club? Because if he's out injured, it's going to be very, very difficult to sell him.
I personally feel if we really want to progress and move on, I feel it is time for him to leave. But again, a lot of it is dependent as well on what we do in the final 3 days of the window. Because although, you know, I think we've had a really good window so far, you know, with the Kudos signing Polinia and now obviously Javi Simmons, but there still is work to be done. I would give it a 7 out of 10 at the moment. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 if we got another 2 players, the sort of players we've been talking about tonight. And it might even get to that magical 10 out of 10 if they pop in a cheeky little surprise right at the end. But yeah, I just feel there's so much, there's still, you know, we've got a few quality players in, which is great. But I feel we just don't need to get ahead of ourselves at the minute. It's great at the minute. Javi Simmons is a superb player, but he will be a difference maker. But we need 1 or 2 more. Absolutely, we do. Because if we don't, you know, I wouldn't want it to stop here and now. You know, as much as we're feeling great at the minute, we're all expecting another couple of players, aren't we? Let's be honest. So yeah, I really,
it would be great.
Fair play. I've got to say, fair play to Daniel Levy and the Tottenham. You know, Tottenham hierarchy. This is like a band of art all over again for me personally, but a much younger version. I think he's going to be a fantastic player, Chris. I really do. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people believe Thomas Frank when Thomas Frank said that the board, Daniel Levy, Vinay Venkatesham and Johan Langer are working day and night, and they're working through the night on these signings. But they certainly did do that last night to get this deal done so quickly, because they did not want Chelsea put in any sort of bid, and they wanted to just get this deal over the line, which I'm absolutely delighted about, and so are you. And
sorry, Chris, I'm so glad that for the first time in God knows how long, that we've actually gone up against. I mean, people are saying that Chelsea just pulled away. They weren't as interested as they seemed to be initially. But it's the first time, for as long as I can remember, that we've actually gone up against and fought head to head with one of our rivals, our genuine rivals, like a Chelsea and Arsenal, or Man United, Liverpool, City. You know, I said it before. If we want to compete at these sort of levels that we're talking about, if we want to, you know, win the Champions League, win the Premier League, like Daniel Levy says, we need to be competing with the players, or for the players, that these other teams are. Otherwise, we're just buying the level down, and we're never going to get to the level that we want to get to, i.e. the level that they're on. So it's really important, really important. I just think another 2 players would be great. A cheeky third one, you know, one that we're not expecting would be fantastic. I'm greedy, aren't I?
Well, we need the depth. We need quality in our starting 11. We need the depth as well to be fighting on all fronts, as they've said many times. You know, it's exactly what we need. So let's hope that it continues. But Gary, great to have you on, and we'll try and get you on the podcast again very, very soon. Thank you so much.
See you, mate. Take care, Chris.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Simo. Simo, how are you doing?
Hello, mate. I'm good. How are you? Well,
Very
better
good.
now.
Very good. We're all smiling. We're all smiling today.
Well,
Today's been a
this
good
morning,
day.
I always wake up at stupid o'clock at like 5 o'clock or something. It's called getting old, mate. And I've been captured by the Fabrizio Romano. You know, so you open up your X, and I looked, and I thought, no way, it's actually going to happen. And
Yeah.
then I get the Spurs cynical thing comes in, go, nah, they fuck it up. They're going to balls it up. And then throughout the day, you've been waiting and waiting, and we've all been waiting. And then finally, you see it come out. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Finally.
So, Simo, what kind of guy are you? Are you glued to your phone during a transfer window, particularly days like today, or do you just check it every couple of hours or after work, or because there is that huge sigh of relief today, isn't there? Particularly how we've gone through as a fan base with the whole Morgan Gibbs White deal. We got the Here We Go, the Eze one. We got it's 85% there. It's very nearly done. Here we go soon, and then that didn't happen. And then of course this one has got over the line, which I'm sure every single Spurs fan out there is absolutely delighted. But there have been frustrations during this window with all of the speculation, all of the talk.
Mate, I'm like most, right? The transfer window, it's a bit of fun, right? You're going on X, you're looking at Fabrizio, you're seeing what's going on. You've got that little hope. Oh, are we going to do something big? Are we going to do something big? And then we get kudos, and then we're thinking, oh, he's a player, he's a baller. And then the very next day, you get Morgan's Gibbs White, and you think, Levy's had a stroke or something. What's going on with you? And then, of course, it all fell apart, which I don't entirely blame the club for, but it fell apart. And then we get the Eze thing, and as that dragged on, I've been in sales for a long year. I can tell you, time kills deals. So when it was dragging on, I thought, oh, no. And sure enough, it went west. I was ready to lob my phone down the garden, mate. I didn't want to look at it anymore. No, I didn't even go on X for about a week.
Yeah.
Now, I'm well happy.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, how excited are you by this signing? Because this is exactly what we need, isn't it? And how many times do we end transfer windows, left disappointed and thinking, we didn't get what we wanted or what we needed? But this is a real obvious one.
I think the value to the club here is multifaceted in this signing, right? It's not, as Danny Rose used to say, it's not someone you've got to Google to find out who it is, right? He's a baller. He's played Champions League. He's played 28 times or something for his national side. He's massively talented. He's a really exciting player. I think he'll add to the team, but he's a name as well. I mean, I've heard you say before, and I'm right with you. The last player who came through the door that I just thought, wow, was Klinsmann.
Yeah.
This one, it's a different era, right? So we're all seeing big names going left, right, and centre. But I think this guy could be something special. I see you've got the 7 shirt, and that's some boots to fill.
Yeah.
But he could be really exciting. If you look at our front line as it's developing now, I mean, Richie's on fire. God bless him, and long may it continue. Kudus, I mean, he's going to be something else. He already is for me. But you put Xavi in there as well. Oh, mate, it's beginning to look really tasty.
What on earth are West Ham thinking by selling Mohamed Kudus to us for £55 million? Because
I think he was going to down tools at some point. Because look at their team now. I mean, they're shockingly bad.
Yeah.
I don't like to diss managers and what have you, but I don't know what's gone on with Potter. At Brighton, the guy was brilliant. At Chelsea, he just couldn't. He looked ill at the end of it. He's gone over to West Ham, and it's just not happening. Now I know, because you like to have a little bit of fun. When we were signing Kudus, I was looking at some of the West Ham pods and what have you, and they were absolutely spitting feathers. But they hate Sullivan as much as we hate Levy. So he could well be caught up in that vortex, that he's not getting players that he needs. And therefore, he's just on a hide into nothing.
I don't know whether, Simo, you've looked at the any Chelsea channels, but Chelsea fans are not happy that they haven't signed Javi Simmons because, of course, they're signing Garnacho. I know that we've mentioned Garnacho on the channel a few times. That hasn't gone down particularly well. But what were they thinking, Chelsea?
Breaks my heart, mate. I couldn't give a toss.
How have you? What have you made of the season so far? What have you made of Thomas Frank? What have you made of the changes that he has made? Because, as I mentioned a number of times on the show so far, the fact that we have brought in, João Palhinha, that number 6 that we have been crying out for at least the last couple of years. Mohamed Kudus brings Premier League experience, and he has just added that spark already, that real edge of excitement, people getting off the edge of their seat. His defensive work is absolutely brilliant as well. Thomas Frank demands that from any player in his side. But what have you made of the first couple of games, and how are you looking forward to the game tomorrow against Bournemouth?
So in that hiatus at the end of the season, I was, surely you can't sack Ange. We've got our first European trophy for 40 years or something, first trophy for 17. You can't sack him. We've got to give him one more go. But that was heart over head in reality. Thomas Frank came in, wasn't a fan, to be honest. Yeah, I recognise he did a great job at Brentford, but this ain't Brentford. But to be fair, I didn't really have a name on the tip of my tongue either of, we should go for X, Y, or Z. So he came in. I've just been reserving my judgment as the games have gone on. And I watched pre-season, I watched all the pre-season games, and I thought, okay, well, it's definitely different. But the real one that made my head turn was the PSG Super Cup game. I thought we were just outstanding there. But the thing that caught my eye most was it looked like a complete team performance.
Yeah.
And that's been the same in all the league games. I mean, particularly in the Man City game. I thought the Man City game was just complete from back to front. If you looked at man of the match, Saar probably got it, but only by 0.1%, because everybody was playing out the skins. I thought it was superb. What have I made about Thomas Frank? I think obviously very different around, massively well structured. I think his tactical nous is second to none, is what he's showing right now. His ability to be able to get across principles, but flexibility in the way that he wants to play is really interesting. Kudus, he just looks a baller. And the thing that really struck me about him on the Man City game is when they brought on, who's the fellow on the left, the really tasty winger on the left they've got? I can't remember what his name is. A really brilliant player. But Kudus was sprinting back to double up on him with Pedro 3 or 4 times. And as an attacking player, that's not his normal instinct, is it? That's something that the coach has said to him, the coaching team has said to him, and he's showing commitment to the cause there. So I think Thomas Frank could be, and I'm really cautious on this, because how many times have we got our hopes up and then we're just dashed on the rocks of reality? But this could be really, really something special, because if you look at the players, like you said, Paulinho could be the signing of the season. I know everyone is saying Xavi for great, understandable reasons, and kudos, and maybe we get, another A-lister comes in. But I think that rock in front of the back four gives us that stability and that foundation to let all these brilliant players do the things they do. He could be really cool.
It's so important, though, isn't it, that the club identify exactly the positions where we need to strengthen, particularly given our poor league form last season. I know everyone will go on about Ange and the tactics that he played, etc. But, I think it's fair and honest to say that Ange didn't have the squad last season to be fighting on all fronts. Hence why we are signing the players that we are in this summer transfer window. But that number 6 role, that was so important that we fulfilled that position. The number 10, so important again, and we've ticked that off. The next one, I would say, would be left wing. Who would you like to see? Savinho, of course, we've been linked with in talks with Man City. Man City have made it very clear that they don't want to sell the player. Anyone else, Simo, who you can think of that you would like to see in that left wing position at Tottenham?
One's leaking out, right? I mean, anybody that you would think of is unlikely to be moving. They're happy where they are. Left wing is a problem, though, right? Xavi can play there. He's played there before. But if you look at, you're getting a numbers problem over there. Tell for me is just not. I really hope that I'm wrong, and it really shows something. But I don't see 40 million quid's worth of player right now. I think he's got a great attitude and everything, but I'm not seeing it. Odegaard, I think, can be really interesting. At Burnley, I thought, when I saw him playing at Burnley, I thought, yeah, that's a very good young player. But again, he's a good young player.
Yeah.
We don't. In Salvino, if he came along, I mean, he's just a shoo-in because he's experienced. He's a first-team player. He's brilliant. I don't know. I don't think that they will. I don't think they will go left wing. I think they'll go centre back, and I kind of get it because if he wants to play three at the back on occasion, one injury right now. I mean, we got Dragishin out. Should be back in a couple of weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Is he the quality that I'm sure Thomas Frank could do a job with him, but if you look at him versus Akanji, I mean, there's no debate, is there? So. One injury and then he's hamstrung in the systems he can play, whether it's a back four or back three. So I think more likely is you'll see a centre back come in.
Yeah, you mentioned Akanji there. Of course, there have been a lot of links today to him. £15 million. That would be an absolute bargain for a player of that quality.
Well, it's even better than that. 15 million euros is what I saw, which is what, 12 million quid? I mean, it's a steal. I mean, I think he's a quality centre back, and whether you wouldn't put him in front of Romero and Van der Ven, I wouldn't think. But if you're playing a back three, I'd definitely have him as a consideration alongside Danso. Yeah. So if that is genuinely the number, crack on. I mean, why would he? Where was he? AC Milan, I think, we're going in for him. So, I mean, it's a straightforward question with him. Do you want to play in Italy or do you want to play in the Prem? Your call.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that price, all day long.
Yeah. Simo, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much. And lastly, just give me a score prediction for the Bournemouth game.
2-1. I think it's going to be really annoying. Semenyo is a brilliant player. He was one. If you want to look at a player, does he play left? He plays on the right, doesn't he?
No, he's on the left.
Yeah, well, I don't think you could prize him out of there. I mean, that's another one where I don't think you could prize him out. He's a quality baller. I fear he's going to bang one in the back of the net, but I think we'll win. I think we'll get away, and we'll 9 points out of 9. I'll take that. And then the Woolwich have got to go up to Anfield and hopefully get trounced 6-0, and they can bugger off.
Have a great weekend. We'll speak to you soon.
You too, mate. Take care. Ta-da.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Josh in New York. Josh, how are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Yes, very good. Now, when I spoke to you last, everyone was all a bit doom and gloom, weren't they? Asking for transfers, demanding transfers. We've finally got a real statement signing over the line today. Javi Simmons, what do you make of it?
Absolutely. It's a lot easier being on the channel after good news, I can tell you that. For sure.
Yes.
But what an excellent signing. It's the star power and the name recognition that we really needed. I mean, this has been a guy who's been around since like 14, 15 years old. I think he was like a YouTube star at 14 years old with his afro running around in Barcelona. This is very exciting, and we acted very decisively and quickly. We were linked with him, I think, early on for a while. Chelsea was always in there, and it just didn't really seem possible, but we acted very quickly and decisively, and that's what's very exciting.
Josh, what else do you think Spurs might do in the next couple of days? Could they pull off even more surprises for us Spurs fans and put us in an even better mood?
Oh, I would love more coverage at like a left center back or a left back, only because Mickey's injury history is just a bit scary. And it'd be nice to rotate him in games and have someone who could fill that role and then also fill the role on the left back. So I think that would really put the transfer window up to one of the better ones we've had in a really, really long time. With that said, I think we improved the first team by three 3 quality new starters. I mean, it's great. We just really need to we're getting closer, right? We just need to keep increasing our depth so we can compete in all these competitions.
Josh, what did you make of the Champions League draw? You must be very happy with that.
Definitely, on paper, it almost looks like a Europa League draw, besides for PSG. But I mean, it's you got to stay on the ground. It's a Champions League, so it's hard. Like, these games are going to be tough, but it gives you that hope that, like, if we can compete in that competition, and we can definitely, I think, get through if we can stay healthy, and if we could add players. And we added Xavi Simmons, who's Champions League quality type player. So it's exciting. There's some really cool fixtures, get back to Bodo Glimt, PSG again, some good fixtures. So it's exciting. I'm hopeful. I loved everything Frank's done so far.
Josh, when you look at those Champions League fixtures, would you be confident that Spurs would go through to the next round? Because that famous quote of the club saying we want to be fighting on all fronts. Do you feel more confident now that Javi Simmons will be in that squad list, and with his European experience as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's played in the Champions League before with RB, and he's a quality. He's done well with the Netherlands. I mean, he had an incredible goal against, I think, you guys in the Euros. That goal was amazing.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Like we should definitely make, assuming like the injuries don't happen as like last year, and we're able to rotate the squad, like we should be beating these teams based on just the quality of our squad. I'm very excited and hopeful, and I'm over Eze, to be honest. I'm over him. Because we have a player now that wanted to come here, right? Eze didn't want to come. He wanted to be a Gooner. He didn't want to come to us. We have a guy who Xavi could have chose any other team he wanted to. Believe me, he wanted to come to Premier League. He could have chosen another team, 100%. But we were there at the right time, and he came to us. It's awesome.
Josh, what have you made of the 2 Premier League games so far? And are you confident the Spurs can make it 3 out of 3 on Saturday against Bournemouth?
I'm really excited about Paulinho and Bentancur's partnership. Like, we're a bit of a nasty team. Those 2 in the center, Romero, Kudus, like we got some edge to us. So I really like the setup so far, and I think that like playing Burnley, right? Who's probably going to be fighting for relegation, like playing that, like, so that was like playing Burnley. That was an interesting fixture, because it could have been like maybe like Leicester last year, right? When we started and we couldn't score the first time we played them. And then we played Man City, who's going to be challenging for the title. So like those are 2 kind of polar opposite games. And we approached those games very differently. And we won both those games and played very well. So I thought those were 2 very good examples of kind of like maybe what we'll see. And now we're playing Bournemouth, which is going to be like, maybe a mid-table team, maybe fighting for 8th. So these 3 games are like very telling for how we could approach like different type of profiles of teams. And I think the first 2 games couldn't have gone any better. So I think I'm very hopeful. I think we can beat Bournemouth. I think we definitely can. Keep 3.
Josh, I've asked a few people this already, but I'll ask you the same. The starting 11 against Bournemouth on Saturday, and I've said this before, I feel it's going to be very hard to predict what Thomas Frank does in certain games, because he changes so much up. From the starting 11 that played against Manchester City at the weekend, what changes, if any, do you think that he will make?
I don't think you make any changes. I was thinking like Solanke would be interesting against his former team. Like that would be kind of interesting. And Solanke, Richarlison kind of splitting that 65-minute, 35-minute timeshare, like that maybe, but like I wouldn't touch a thing the way that the teams played. And I want to definitely keep Paulinho and Bentancur together, and Sarr has been so good. Keep it. You got to keep it. You got to keep it.
So when Javi Simmons comes into this team, whose place is he taking? Because Sarr has played that advanced midfield role, and like you just said, he's done extremely well so far, and in pre-season he's been one of the standout players.
So when Eriksson played on the wing for us, right? When for the most part, I kind of envision something along those lines, being like an inverted left wing, number 10 type player, and Johnson, rotating in, or switching around, I think, I think that's probably what it's going to look like. And I don't think we're going to get a Savinho type player now on the left for sure.
Josh, what score prediction are you going with?
I think 2-0. Let's keep 3 clean sheets in a row. I mean, why not, right?
Wow. Okay. Well, Josh, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll continue smiling here while things are going well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Great talking with you.
Cheers. Right. We're now going to go to Matt in New Jersey. Matt, how are you?
Doing very well, Chris. How are you today?
Very good. Very good. Smiling all the way. How are you feeling about this?
Lots of smile about, Chris. Lots to smile about.
How are you feeling about this signing of Javi Simmons?
I feel very good because only Spurs could mess around with all their targets and their supposed top targets in Morgan Gibbs White and some guy from Palace who's 27 and he went across the way, and we end up with a player that's better than both of them. Only Spurs could actually fall into the right player, the one that we really need, and he could play a multitude of different positions too. If you do watch him at Leipzig, the good thing is I have ESPN Plus, it's with this whole American thing and Hulu and Disney Plus, and so the Bundesliga is always on. It's always available. So I do try to catch some games when Spurs are not playing, and once in a while I have seen a few Leipzig games. I was watching mostly for Šeško. Šeško was this player I really had my eye on for a while, but Xavi is very good with his touches. He's got a tremendous work rate. He could score goals with both feet. I believe he even scored 2 headers last year, even though he's not exactly the biggest guy. I think it opens up a lot of different dimensions in our play because of his ability to play different positions. He could really do that deep linking. He could be more of a one who's going to run at players and engage them, similar to Kudos. If he does play on the left, maybe that's similar. That's his role there, to engage the one-on-one play there and create more space in the middle. But it's a fantastic signing, man. This one really feels good. Really feels good.
Matt, how are you feeling now? Does it change your view of this season? Does it change your expectations of having a signing like this now, and perhaps even 1 or 2, dare I say it, 1 or 2 more before Monday? Does it change your expectations for this season?
I think the easiest answer is yes, but no, because I think we have to build on what we did last year. We won a big trophy. Vinay and Daniel came out this past summer saying that we want a challenge. So, they all said it. The actions finally are matching some of it, which is great. It's a shame that it's taken to the end of August to get some of those actions across the line. But like you said, and like a lot of your guests on today have said, if we're able to bring in another center back, I think a center back would be a smart idea, with Vuskovic just going out to Hamburg. That was confirmed this morning, along with the myriad of other news that went out this morning, which was it was one good thing after the next. It was really like Christmas this morning. I was like, oh my God, she got called up. And Jed getting called up makes me so happy because, the man just exudes confidence. I love his Instagram stories where he's bring me your favorite winger. He had that post about Kudos the other day. He'd buy him dinner if he beat him, and Kudos tried, it said 0 out of 10. I mean, it's clever, and he's got this aura, this confidence. And anyway, going back to the transfers, if we're able to bring in a center back, one who can really play across multiple positions, I think Akanji has been quoted, as well as Ake. I'd prefer Akanji over Ake, of course. But I think that would be fantastic. That would really kind of just solidify the floor, our floor, because right now we have a really nice floor with the Paulinho signing and how he's performed. And Kudos has been a revelation. Richarlison is like a man possessed. I mean, we're getting so much from. It seems like Frank is already squeezing a lot more out of this squad than most other managers have done in the past.
Yeah, no, that is great to see, and there are a lot of positives, as you said, Matt. Philip says here, just joined the podcast. How do we rate the transfer window now? I've asked a few people, a few guests already on the show about rating the window. What would you give it now, Matt?
I know some people were throwing around some 6s, 7s. I'm firmly 8.5 thing, just because I'm taking into effect. I think on one of your previous pods, somebody mentioned that two of the biggest signings that we did were Thomas Frank and the Romero extension. I think those were the really laid down the marker for the summer, saying, okay, now we're kind of really going to set the tone. And then just from there, we built on that. Again, the Javi Simmons, I would have loved it to be done a month ago, but there was just so much noise. Fabrizio, the normal tap-in merchant, has had like a bit of a Bobby Soldado to him, putting things over the bar from like two meters out. But, we finally got one right with this. So I'd say 8.5. It could be better, but I mean, it really allows us to build on what we did last year.
What would make it a 10 for you? What do we need to do,
I guess,
in the next 3 days?
Let me see. I think we would probably have to bring in, of course, that left-sided center back, Akanji. If we could get him, I think you quoted £15 million, which is just a steal. If we could do that, that's great. That'd probably bring us up to a 9. And then again, I love those Monaco young players, man. They produce so many world-class talents that come out of there. And I'm not even going to attempt his name because it's like Magholmes or something. I cannot say his name. I'm really bad with that. But he plays on the left. He plays in the center. He's played on the right. He's played up front. He has a lot of flexibility across there. He's still very young. And even if you look at his goals and assist output from last year, they were very impressive for a player who also has Champions League experience. He has, I don't think he's been called up to the national team yet. But I mean, that's the French national team. Like, to get into the French national team, I mean, you really have to be the best in the world. So I think if you could pull those out, you get a 10. But again, I don't need perfection, and I don't think a lot of our Spurs fans need that perfection. I think we're happy with Simmons. I think we're happy with Kudos, Polina, and of course, if we're able to bring in that left-sided center back, we'd all be set to build on a nice season.
Mark says here 8 out of 10 as players are being brought in that are first team ready, which I feel is so important, as I've said many times. Mark also says Savinho would make it a 10 with a centre back. I feel like, Matt, that if we did have that left winger, someone like Savinho, him putting balls into the box, Mohamed Kudus putting balls into the box, the other side, you've got Javi Simmons playing that number 10 role. My God, that would be exciting, wouldn't it?
That would be pretty scary. I would not want to be a center back or a central midfielder, a defensive midfielder trying to cover all these. Or God, when you're one of the fullbacks getting one-on-one outside by Kudos or yes, like you said, Savinho or Xavi, any of these guys. I mean, they have the trickery to really make you look foolish. It's wild. But I mean, if we were able to bring in Savinho, I mean, that would be a dream, because he is that type of player. He's similar to the Monaco kid. He's more of a finished product, I think. And, even though he's only been at City for a year, learning under Pep and learning that type of total football mentality, I think, would really probably help develop him. And then, of course, he'd get further education from Thomas Frank, and Justin Cochran. A lot of their staff has nurtured a lot of these players in turn, and really going back to what we were talking about, squeezing every drop of talent out of them. I think it would be great. But again, it's such a great day. We've had such a nice day. We don't need to think about how great tomorrow could be. Let's just think about how great today is right now. It's like, as Spurs fans, let's just be happy right now. It's great.
It's been a really, really good week, Matt, and we do want it to get better, because we do want to win our third consecutive Premier League game. How do you see this one going?
I do see that we could get the win. I know we've talked about tactics and some rotations in the midfield. I don't think the three from City will be in. I think he'll bring in Bergvall because Bergvall has a bit more of a motor than I think Bentancur. And considering the way Bournemouth play, it's a very high frenetic press. They do love to win those second balls. You need some players who are going to win their duels a lot. And, Bergvall could win duels. He's kind of snippy. Paulinho is just a duel winning monster on the ground, in the air. And Sapsar, we've seen him win duels to start goals, to create, to just be everywhere. So I think we're going to rotate a little bit there. But I still think that we're going to have a little too much for Bournemouth. I do think they'll get one because I think we've talked about Antoine Semenyo a little bit, and he is a special player. Left foot, right foot. Doesn't matter what side he's playing from. He's getting himself into positions, and he is going to score some nasty goals. But I do think that we're going to let in one, but I think that probably just with our depth and the confidence that is probably coming from the team, and I'm pretty sure Thomas Frank has nailed in a game plan to really go at Bournemouth's weaknesses. I still think that we're probably going to end up being like 3-1, on a very special day, maybe 4-1. But I think 3-1 will be a nice, good win for us, and we'll see a lot of those same building blocks: the defensive celerity, the strength, the quick attacks from these direct balls. And I think we're going to see a lot of the same. But yeah, I think we could get 3 points and possibly go into the international break on 9 points. That would be a dream come true, brother.
Matt, let me ask you lastly about Richarlison, because we have seen a very, very different player. But it is fair to say that we saw him, give a really good performance in the Europa League final, then in the Super Cup final, and then in these two Premier League games so far. He's back in the Brazil squad. Thomas Frank was asked today in the press conference about, is the hope that Brazil look after him like Spurs are looking after him right now. This is a great thing for the player, but all of us fans will always worry, won't we, when these players go out on international duty?
Of course. I mean, we had to deal with this with Harry Kane when he would go out. Every time Romero would go out, Lo Celso. I mean, the few times he did go out, he'd come back crocked. Lamella. I mean, the list goes on of players that we've had that we're okay with. They go out, they get injured, and then that's them for the season. But I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. Coming back from the international break, Richie fully deserves it. He had 2 assists the last game. He had 2 goals the first game. He was immense in the Super Cup final, in the Europa League final. Who knows? Maybe maybe tomorrow, he'll have Richarlison on the left and to counter some of the Bournemouth intensity, and have Solanke up front to bang in there as well. So you kind of have like those 2 bangers. And we've seen the strength of Kudos. So, I mean, that front 3 would be very in your face, direct, snippy, not giving you much time to think. And that might be playing into it. But again, I'm sure Thomas Frank has a nice plan for us. But for Richie, it is scary when he goes out there. But I think mentally he's in so much better place that I think he's listening more to his body, maybe because he's finally through all these mental problems. And I'm a big proponent of mental health. I was in therapy for a long time. Everybody should have somebody to speak to. But I think after he had the child and he's done some of this work on himself, he's come back almost rejuvenated, like a brand new player. And I don't want to use a cliche, a brand new signing, but he's just a brand new person. And I think he really understands and is listening more to his body. Maybe that's not what it was. Maybe he was in such a rush to impress the team. He doesn't need to impress us anymore. We know he's a good player. If he could only do 60 minutes right now, that's cool. If he could do 70, that's great. But we want to continue to build him up. And I think Frank made a really good point about that. Just, we need to continue to look after the players. And I hope that the Brazilian national team management, the coaches, they were listening in on that and would just listen to Richie, because I'm sure Richie knows his body more than anybody else. So, But it's a great thing for Richie. It's a great thing for all of our players to get called up. Jed Spence getting his first call up. I mean, well deserved. The man has been. I love the kid. I love the guy. He's 25 years old. I love the man. But it's just been great for these call ups, and just been great. So much good news, Chris. I'm sorry. Sometimes I got like caught up in my own mind here.
Like I said, these shows are so easy to record when you guys come on and everyone's smiling and everyone's talking about positive things. It's great. It really is. Matt, great to talk to you. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, Chris. Take care of yourself.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Rob. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing tremendous. How are you?
Rob, where am I talking to you from?
Well, right now I'm in Washington State. We're up here. We've been up here for about a month, but I'm driving back down to one of my houses in Southern California. And then a couple weeks, about a month later, I have a house in Maryland also. So I go back and forth usually between those two. So time changes. It's the 4:30 a.m. games that kill me when I'm on the West Coast.
I always say full respect to all of you guys around the world when you're getting up at ridiculous hours watching some of our games sometimes and then going to work straight after.
I had to learn how to cheer like this. No sound, because the family's going to kill me if I start screaming at 4:30 in the morning. So
well, Rob, thanks so much for joining us. How are you feeling right now with the transfer window, Thomas Frank, what you've seen so far?
I think it's tremendous. I mean, I don't like how long it took to make the decision on Ange. I'm like you. I was very emotional. I was like, they got rid of him. I was very pissed off. But in hindsight, you see what they're doing. I think ever since that point, they've done a tremendous job this summer. I know, the debacle with meeting the price and then losing him and then the Eze thing. But I think it has shown some ambition. They did right by Sonny. I think they let him make his choice of where he wanted to go. I think they've done very good on most things this year. They could still do a little better. I was probably in more of the 5.5 before we got this signing. I wasn't below 5. I thought they'd done well, but it still was short. I'm in that. It's an 8 now. And I think if you get like many have said, a left-sided center back and Savinho, it's a 10. I don't think you could do much better than that. But I'm excited. I'm actually probably delusional on what we could do this year. I think we're going to win a cup or we're going to win something. And I think we're going to get back into Champions League, and provided injuries are always for any team can, injuries can change it, but it's exciting. Very exciting.
Rob, I don't know what's wrong with me. Whenever anyone mentions trophies or cups, I get goosebumps, and I've got them now. So honestly, that parade in May, a couple of days after the Europa League final, was just incredible. I would love to feel like that again as a fan, because honestly, when you look to the left, the right, lampposts, buildings, roofs, everything, it was amazing. I'd love to see Thomas Frank and the squad parading a trophy down, the high road, in 2026. It would be absolutely awesome. If Thomas Frank had to prioritise any competitions, what ones would they be? Would it be the Champions League? Would it be the Premier League? And would the FA Cup and League Cup be secondary, do you think?
I think I look at it this way. If they get the other two signings, I don't think you have to make a choice. If they can get that left center back, and you can get Savinho, I don't know if you have to prioritize. I think you have to look at it as we're trying to win everything.
So you think we can then fight on all fronts as the club want, as I said?
I think if they get those two more players, definitely. I do think they are. I think that Frank is smart. What I've seen of him, he understands what to do with the players. He understands, like people are saying we shouldn't change for this weekend. I think they need to do 1 or 2 changes, because you need to keep certain players going along and fresh on other players. So, maybe as much as I love Sarr being in there, maybe he comes out for Bergvall, and does Dominique need, Solanke need to play, even though Richarlison's doing great. Frank's going to make those right decisions. And I think, I just think he's going to manage us well. I do think we're going to be on all fronts, and I'm probably delusional, but I feel like this is the most optimistic I felt since the Poach era. about stuff. I really do. If we just keep building, I think we have a chance. And obviously, I think with our draw for the league was great. We're going to play. I hate calling them the B team because I don't think we should have a B team. It should be all A's, and we're just how we rotate them. But we'll play that less. Some of the other players aren't playing for that, and it just does great. So I'm optimistic. I think we're going to smash 3-0 tomorrow. And I think we're going to smash those other lots for the next game. We're going to be 4-0 in the Premier League, and we're going to be shut out. I think we're going to have no goals scored against us in the first 4 games.
Love it, Rob. Love it. Love the confidence. Now, of course, Javi Simmons takes Heung-min Son's shirt number 7. It must be Son mania over there in the US. What's it been like since Son's gone over there?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, the problem is with the MLS is that you have to have Apple TV or you can't watch anything. So it's kind of a depressing thing. That's like, I don't have Apple TV, so I can't watch it, but I do follow it. And his free kick that he scored recently for LAFC, because I was in LA areas where my house is. I just wish, I'm like, where were those for us? Was it that he wasn't getting the chance or, but that free kick was amazing. So I think he's going to do great here. I think he's just going to do wonderful. The fans already love him. So
it's weird, Rob, isn't it, that you can't watch the MLS, but you can watch all of the Premier League games?
Yeah, it is. It's the stupidest thing they've done. It comes about money. Obviously, they probably got some contract with Apple TV, thinking it. Even the LA Dodgers did the same thing where they did a contract with Comcast, and if you don't have Comcast, you can't watch Dodger games in LA. So it's like it's short-sightedness. So I was a big fan of them, of the MLS when it first came out. I remember I go back to where I watched the World Cup in like '82 on Spanish channels because it wasn't on TVs, and I don't know Spanish. So I'm just watching these World Cup games and just loving it, So I've been watching it out here and having to deal with it for most of my life. So,
Rob, which Spurs players have really impressed you during pre-season and during the Super Cup final, and of course these 2 Premier League games so far?
You have to say sometimes it's the easiest thing. I think Romero, with becoming the captain and making the commitment to the team, has been huge. I think it solidifies and it says, we're a top-rate club, one of the best defenders in the world, a World Cup winner wants to be our captain. I think he's been amazing. Sarr, you saw that like 2 years ago that you said maybe he'd be able to do the things he is now. And I don't know what happened last year. I don't know if it was confidence or the way that Ange played didn't fit him or anything, but Sarr's been amazing. Kudos is obviously a revelation. And I'll say that I don't think a lot of people are picking it. I think Johnson is just doing Johnson things. He just, it's horrible. All he does is score. That's it. I get so sick of people get with Johnson, like, he scores. You know how hard that is? I used to tell my son the same thing when I was coaching him. He could score goals from anywhere. My son was when he was younger. He played that. I said, look, you can score goals from anywhere. You will always have a spot in a team. That's just the reality.
I think every team would love that problem, wouldn't they?
Yeah. All he does is score goals. Yeah, well, all he does is kick the ball sideways. Then maybe you can get rid of him. But I think he's gotten way too much negative about him, and he can get better, and he's younger. And how many players have you seen where you've seen a cross and the player is 1 or 2 steps behind, and that's it? He's right there, right on time, putting it in, and it's not luck, it's skill. He knows what to do. So I think we've got a great team, and if we stay healthy, I think we have a good shot at doing something special this year.
Rob, you mentioned Brennan Johnson. Lastly, let me ask you about the players that you think that Thomas Frank can get more from. Who do you want to see improvement from, and what more do you think that Thomas Frank can get out of players?
Well, I do think Johnson is one of them. I think that he just, as he's admitted, he needs to get better at one-on-ones, taking on players. I like the improvement in Richarlison. That he's really going. I think the younger players, I can already see the difference in in what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The two young boys, the two 18-year-olds. Why am I forgetting their name?
Gray and Bergvall.
Yeah, I think he can get more of them. I think he already has. I think
Yeah.
Gray has gotten slacked off a little bit too recently. I think he did tremendous for what he did last year. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing out of position, but I think those younger players are the ones he's going to get out. And he solidifies with his work, it seems, with Romero. I think he's really solidified that defense, that it's really great. So honestly, I think he can improve everybody. I really do. I think he's that kind of coach. And I didn't know that much about him before. I knew he coached there, and I knew Brighton did a lot, but I just didn't know he was this good of a coach. I think it's amazing. So,
Rob, I know I said that was the last question, but I've got to ask you, what position do you think Spurs will finish at the end of the season in the Premier League? Because we've seen a record spend in this summer transfer window, and the teams are still going for it. There is still money being spent. There will still be a lot of deals getting over the line the next 3 days. Where do you think realistically Spurs can finish with Thomas Frank and the signings that we've got in so far?
I think we can do top 4.
Really?
I think that one thing is, and I know it's easy to slack on the Gunners, but I think Arteta is a coach that can implode, and I think if things don't go right for him, they're going to slide down some. Chelsea they're talented and they're great, but they still seem like they're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to pick up as many players and figure out how it works, and sometimes it works, it doesn't. I'm so impressed with the structure we have that looks like we just feel like we can win every game. And I know it's early and it's fun to be delusional and think you're going to win it all, but I think we can. I just think we can. Yeah. And we don't have a coach saying he's thinking about quitting like some other Premier League coaches out there, Man United.
Yeah. I know.
So
Grim
I'm
speak.
ecstatic. This is great. And I think I told you, I don't remember, I said I was at the game where Son scored his 13-minute hat trick. I was in England at that time, and that was amazing. And I'd been to White Hart Lane once before, and that's when I became a fan in 1982. So I love the team. Just love them.
Yeah. Rob, great to talk to you. Please come back for another fan show. Would love to talk to you again.
I will. Thank you.
Cheers. Speak to you soon.
Cheers.
Right. We're now going to go to Charlie in Turkey. Charlie, how are you?
Hello, Chris. I'm very happy. I've had a very good day, but I'm very tired now. But yeah, I mean, everything's gone right for me today. I'm in Turkey, overseeing the Basuma deal.
I think it's off.
Well, he might still go for Fenerbahce.
Charlie, what are you feeling about Javi Simmons? Because this is a real statement signing for Spurs, isn't it?
I've always said, I think I came on here last week, Chris, and I said, on your fan shows on YouTube, that the front cover would be Thomas Frank, and that I don't want to see Thomas Frank on the cover of these shows anymore. I don't want to see Thomas Frank, the manager, as the cover of Tottenham. I want to see a star player as the cover of Tottenham. And normally, I will never, ever buy a player on the back of my shirt that we've just signed. But I'm out here in Turkey. I'm making a fake football shirt documentary on Sunday. I'm getting Simmons on the back of the yellow one when I get back to England, because there's a shop where I live where I can get personalizations. I'm going to get Xavi on the back with 7 because he is a star player, and we've missed a star player. I mean, we had Sonny, but your star player has to start in the final. And when we lost Sonny, it really did hit hard. But now we brought in Javi Simmons, obviously taken on that 7. Clearly 7 is the number for the star player. And I'm absolutely delighted with this signing. I actually went on to my dad for quite a while about him, we should get Javi Simmons, we can get Javi Simmons. And yes, Eze hurt so much. I was so angry when we didn't get Eze, so disappointed, because I hate Arsenal, and well, I used to love Eze, I don't anymore. So that really hit me hard, and it still does. I wanted both Simmons and Eze. I wanted to see Simmons play out on the left and Eze through the middle. But another thing I say is, where do we go in this window? now, because I know people say a left winger, a left centre back, and a left back. But what about when Kulusevski comes back? In my opinion, he's a brilliant player and he should get in the team. Wouldn't Simmons take the spot on the left? And right now, who do you take out of that three for Simmons to come in?
Yeah. Aren't they good problems to have, though, Charlie? For a manager to constantly want to rotate, use different players, and he's a big advocate as well for using all five subs in games.
Yeah, no. Of course, it's a great problem to have. Or who do we play? Like obviously the Pep roulette, isn't it? But yeah, I just think Simmons is too good not to start every single week. Like Man City and the Pep roulette, Haaland will start every single week because he is their star man. And now Rodri's back. I'm confident he'll play every week. I hope Frank keeps making the right decisions and that we achieve something really, really special this year. I think on Wednesday night I said we're going to win the league. Maybe not that far, but yeah. FA Cup and Champions League football, I think it'll be an amazing season. There'll be a parade, like you were saying. It gives you goosebumps. Still gives me goosebumps. Yeah, that'd be great.
Charlie, lastly, what do you make of the Champions League draw? Because I can't, personally, I can't wait to hear that music again. Incredible to be in the big time again, Champions League. And it seems to be, on paper, it seems to be a good draw for Spurs. I know PSG away is obviously going to be extremely difficult. Dortmund at home. But the other ties, you'd look at them and think that, Spurs should be getting a result. But it's all about keeping the players fit, isn't it?
There's no easy game in the Champions League. I know people say that, you might expect this to draw if you were in the Europa League. I don't look at it that way, I was watching someone earlier, we're going to win the Champions League group stages. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, this isn't straightforward. At the end of the day, from pot 1 and pot 2, we've got Dortmund. That's a very difficult game. PSG, they're the holders. But, we did give them a good game in that Super Cup. Frankfurt, they're a good team. And, some people say we got lucky out there. But they have lost Ekatike. And Villarreal are also a top team. Bodo, Slavia Praha. And who are the other two?
Copenhagen. Did you say that?
I didn't say Copenhagen. And there's one more.
Monaco,
that's it. Monaco is going to be very difficult because I like Monaco. They've got a player called Akli Uche. The Athletic actually did a video on why Tottenham should make him their number 10. I don't ever like signing players from the French league. I think it's a very, very different league. I look at Tongo and Ndombele. I think he's a world-class player. I still do. I think he's so skillful, but he didn't quite make it in the Premier League. Had he stayed out in France and maybe moved to a PSG, Tongo and Ndombele, looking at what PSG did this year, who knows what he could have achieved in his career.
Charlie, get some sleep because you're 3 hours ahead of us, aren't you?
Two. But it's 11
2.
I do need to sleep. I've got early wake up to get the sunbeds tomorrow. And yeah.
Well, enjoy your holiday. Keep smiling, and we'll have you again on very soon.
I'll keep smiling until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Here, 3 over there. Goodbye. Thank you.
Cheers, Charlie. Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Cam. Cam, how are you?
Great, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for coming on. How are you feeling right now as a Spurs fan?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's all going good at the minute, isn't it?
Cam, what do you make of the signing of Javi Simmons? Because when you look at how much money Spurs have spent in this summer transfer window, it's exactly what all of us fans want, expect, and we just want to see ambition from the football club to go out there and get the best players possible. We didn't get Morgan Gibbs-White over the line. We didn't get the Eze one over the line. We didn't get the Savinho one over the line. But I tell you what, everyone's smiling today, aren't they, with Javi Simmons?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Eze stuff on my head in. The fact it's Arsenal makes it so much worse. But I think since the Europa League, I think they've actually, in credit to Levy, he's done everything right, in my opinion.
There's been a lot of criticism, Cam, aimed at the football club during this summer window, because a lot of people felt that we weren't going to bring any more players in. I know, some people say judge the window, at the very end of the window. Do you expect any more statement signings in before the window closes at 7 p.m. on Monday?
I would like a left winger. I think that'll be. I think Simo would be ideal for me. I think he's fantastic. He'll be the main trouble causer in the game tomorrow. Because if we get a left winger, like a skillful direct player, I think that just gives us so many options. And Frank's so adaptable that it'll just leave everyone guessing all the time.
Cam, how impressed have you been with Thomas Frank, and has he surprised you?
I've always thought I was really happy with the appointment. I think he's a great manager. He's so unpredictable. And the thing that really I was happy about when we got him is even with the Brentford team, that Brentford side always seemed to be the giant killers in the Premier League. And now that he's got a higher quality squad, he should be able to do it against the other teams as well. So I think it's looking good.
What would be a good season for you, realistically? Because I know league position, and as we know, Ange Postecoglou got sacked because we finished 17th. You could talk about the Europa League all day long, but he got sacked for finishing 17th in the Premier League, 22 league defeats. The league competition is very important to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. There's no doubt about it. What would be a good finish for you in terms of league position? And do you think that Thomas Frank would take the FA Cup, League Cup a little bit more seriously than perhaps some other managers have done in recent times?
I think he will, yeah. I think if we can get an extra one or two signings, I think we can compete on multiple fronts as well, which will be very good. I think he maybe needs to focus on the league for the first season. He might be just to kind of get the influx of cash again for next year. And then kind of really push for everything if we can.
Cam, how impressed have you been with Jed Spence? Because how does Destiny Doggy get back into this team when Jed Spence is actually taking up his position? And it's funny, isn't it? No one's ever criticised Jed Spence for playing out of position on the left.
Yeah, I think he's in the same boat as Sarr, really. They've been fantastic. I think Jed Spence gives us an edge with any wingers that want to cut in. It's on his stronger side, so he's great. I think he gives us a bit more balance as well as a defence. So I think I'd keep him in. I don't know how he gets back in the team.
Yeah, Thomas Frank confirmed in a press conference earlier that that Destiny Doggy will actually be in the squad for the Bournemouth game. So it'd be interesting to see whether he does actually start or get minutes in the game. And also Dominic Solanke, we haven't seen much of him because he's been out injured. And now, how does he get back into the team with Richarlison firing and pressing and playing extremely well? Do you think, Cam, that we will see very often that Richarlison and Dominic Solanke play in the same team, that both of them play up there?
In the Europa League final, I really like Richarlison on the left just because of his ability to just work that hard and help out defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe in the Champions League, that could be a good option if he wants to play Udogie, kind of like Kudus, how he helps out Porro. So in games like that, I think they could play both, but I think they'll be fighting for position, which should elevate both of the games, which is only a good thing.
So is that our backup then if Spurs don't sign a left winger, that Richarlison could play there and Thomas Frank gets the best out of him out there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Cam, how are you feeling about the Bournemouth game Saturday? Is this going to be another win, another clean sheet for Thomas Frank?
I'm confident of a win, not so much clean sheet. The defence got tore to shreds, but they've still got the same attacking threats, and I think Truffert on the left looks quite promising. So even Semenyo down Porro's side, I think Kudus will have to really help him out.
Cam, lastly, what is this squad? How good can this squad be under Thomas Frank? And I've asked a couple of the guests already tonight about who can he improve. Who have you been impressed with so far under Thomas Frank? Who have you seen a real difference with so far under him?
I don't think anyone has had a bad game at all.
Yeah,
everyone's improved at the minute. I think that carried on because he's always done well with forwards like Mbeumo and Wissa, getting a lot of contributions from them. So I'd like to see that from Kudus. He's already had a great start.
Yeah. Cam, thanks so much for joining us, and we have a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Cheers. Right, we're now going to go to Jamie. Jamie, you must be smiling.
It's going too well, Chris. We've got Jed Spence getting called up. We've got a Champions League draw. Went as well as it could have.
Yep.
Javi Simmons is through the door, and we've got a Saturday block kick-off tomorrow. Can't wait to get over there.
Yeah, but you don't normally come on here talking about positives, do you? That's why I said, Jamie, it's great doing these shows. I tell you, when we're winning and when we're signing players and everything's gravy, it's great talking to everyone. And you, of course, you missed out as well that Jed Spence, Romero signed new contracts at the club. It couldn't be any better at the moment.
No, it's going too well. After that, I was going to come on for the after the Eze one. I think you was doing it with Craig, weren't you? And I
didn't even want to record that. Neither did you.
I don't know if you're allowed to swear on here, but I thought it won't do you any favours either. But to be fair, after a couple of days, I think it was probably a blessing in disguise because I think that's true about him making a call to Arteta. I don't want people like that at the club because they'll spit their dummy out further down. You don't want. I think he's got a no dickheads policy anyway, and he would have been right in that category. So I think it worked out for the best, and we've got a quality replacement now. So.
Jamie, all joking aside, I know I'm saying about you talking about negatives. I know you've come on here and said things how they are a lot of the time, and this signing of Javi Simmons, how would you rate it? Because this is a real statement signing for Spurs. Of course, we got in Mohamed Kudus early on in the window. Javi Simmons has signed now. We've got 3 days left of the window. João Palhinha, who I've mentioned a couple of times on the show so far, a real statement signing. I know that's a loan move, but we've got an option to buy him at the end of the season. The difference with the starting 11 to get 3 players through the door that instantly walk into this team. Are you surprised that Spurs have done this? Because I think all of us said at the start of the window, we need a handful of players to walk straight into this team and make a real quality difference. It's exactly what the football club have done.
Yeah, and to be fair, he gets a lot of flack, but you've got to give him a bit of credit for getting this one over the line. He got absolutely slaughtered the other day, with the Eze, the Gibbs White, Savinho. I don't think that's going to happen. So you've got to give credit where it's due. Am I surprised? I am, because this is a state, this is real ambition, a signing like this, and that's what you want from the club. I'm not being funny. You know yourself how much the season tickets are, and that we pay one of the highest in the country. Yeah. And you want the club to supply you with good what you want to see. So I am surprised, but we shouldn't be really, because that's what they should be doing. But yeah, let's go with it. I'm looking forward to this season. I'm optimistic.
Jamie, how long can this good winning run under Thomas Frank last? Because it would be great, wouldn't it? The Bournemouth game on Saturday, to get a win there, to go into the international break, 3 wins out of 3. The players go off on international duty. Hopefully all of them come back, injury-free. We then come back, we play West Ham, who are in terrible form at the moment. They look all over the place. If we got a win there, how long can this winning run and this, really good feeling last at Spurs? Because how many times, I don't want to be negative here, but how many times have we enjoyed moments and they don't last too long because something just throws a spanner in the works?
Yeah, do you remember under Nuno? I think we won our first 3 and then we went and got battered, or it might have been Palace or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 3-0.
Being a Spurs fan, it ain't going to last too long, so enjoy it where you can. But yeah, the longer it goes on, the better. But I do trust this manager. I do. I think when he first come in sure, but like you watch it, he changes it every time. We don't know what he's going to play. The opposition don't know what he's going to play. You know, my on the last manager, look, I thank him for the cut, but I just don't think he was clever enough, if you like. I just don't. This bloke he's a different level, I think. And I think people said, "Oh, what's he ever won?" But what's he meant to win at Brentford? He got the best out of us. Who would have done a better job than he did at Brentford? You know.
Yeah. Jamie, what do you make of the Champions League draw?
I don't want to be like disrespectful, but it couldn't really have gone any better, I don't think. Obviously, Paris, like we played well against them the other week, but they're obviously a top side. They're the winners, aren't they? They're the holders. Dortmund, I don't think Dortmund were that great last year. I didn't even know they were in the Champions League, to be honest with you. They must have hit a bit of run later on, but who else is there? Monaco. Like, it couldn't have gone any better. I mean, a couple of the teams who we played in the Europa League last year, so we've got to be happy. I think it gives you a bit of hope of getting through to the possibly in the top 8 or definitely into the knockout stage, you know.
Jamie, we've got so many players on international duty after Saturday's game against Bournemouth, but Jed Spence just been called up to the England squad for the very first time. It is about time this happened, isn't it?
I think he's so underrated. I think he's been brilliant since he broke. He did have a little blip when he broke into. He did have a little blip when he went with Udogie, but I prefer him to Udogie. I think he's a better defender, and for some reason he does seem to be better on the left. But I definitely, I think, gives us a good balance with Porro on the right and him on the left because he's better defensively, but Porro still gives you a bit of creativity from deep. So yeah, no, good luck to him. He deserves it.
Jamie, what's your score prediction for Saturday? And lastly, in terms of team selection, do you expect the same team that played against City?
I'm going to go 2-1. I think it'd be tight. I think we'll just get over the line tomorrow. Selection, the only one I think he might do, I think he might bring Bergvall in. I don't think he'll bring Solanke back in. I think he'll leave Richarlison up there. But I think he might bring Bergvall in and leave maybe Bentancur out. But like I said, I think Bentancur, Polina and that, we look a lot more stronger with them this year. Bentancur looks fitter, I think. And Polina, we knew he'd be a great sign. He's what we've lacked for years. What do you think for tomorrow, Chris?
Do you know what? I think it's so hard to call. I really do. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he went with the same starting 11 against City. But then again, I wouldn't be at all surprised if he made a couple of changes. I've said this in the last couple of podcasts. I feel like it's going to be really, really difficult to try and predict his starting 11 week by week. And I think that is excellent, for the opposition because they don't know what he's going to do. And I love that.
Yeah, exactly. But is Simmons, is he in the squad for tomorrow? Did he not sign in tomorrow?
No, he wasn't registered in time and he hasn't got his work permit. He's waiting on that. So it's pretty obvious that he'll be unveiled tomorrow at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in front of the fans. He will watch the game. But I think the first time we're going to see him in a Spurs shirt is West Ham away. So hopefully he can bang one in the top corner and do a knee slide over by the West Ham fans. It'd be a great start for him.
I'll celebrate with Kudus.
It'd be brilliant. Jamie, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Tottenham's win tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Yeah, mate.
Cheers, mate. Right, we're now going to go to Michael. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, very good. Great to have you on and great to talk to you again. How are you feeling right now? Because this signing has got everyone pumped today.
You know, just when you start to feel so cynical about what this crazy club does, they do something like this. And like, you look at 3-4 years down the line, Simmons in his prime, Bergvall in his prime, Gray in his prime, like, I think we are competing now and we are setting ourselves up to compete for years to come.
Michael, how are you feeling about what we've done so far in terms of 2 wins, 2 games, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, the way that we have played, that performance at Manchester City last week was incredible. I don't think a lot of people expected it.
No, and I think it shows a level of maturity. I mean, like, we can sing the praises of Frank, and we should. I hope he stays with us for years. But I think the players are like immediately bought in. There's the tactical flexibility is there. And we're showing up. I must say, it has been like, I love watching Polina. It's brutal and gritty, and he breaks up plays, and it's just like, it's so great to watch because it's just like, we said it for years, that's the style of player we've been missing. And it's so funny because like he knits things together, even though he's not what we would call like a silky smooth player, but he starts so much of what's good about our team right now.
I'm glad you've mentioned Polina because I feel very conscious about keep mentioning him because a number of people have said that I mention him so much. But I tell you what, this really is the number 6 that we have been crying out for. You know, that protection in front of the back 4 or that defensive line. I think he's going to be an absolute star for us, and that rock in midfield. But it's so important, Michael, isn't it? That, you know, like I mentioned earlier, about bringing in first team players, ready-made players to walk straight into this team. You know, certainly with someone like João Polina, who's got Premier League experience. You just think now 1 or 2 more, perhaps in the squad, could really, you know, get Tottenham fighting on all fronts. Exactly what the board want.
I totally agree. And I think we have a depth now that we haven't had in years. And I also think that the style of play is like, I mean, look, like fingers crossed, but like, I think the style of play is not so all out all the time that I'm less worried about injuries. There's a little bit of cover, the tactical flexibility. Also, like if we need to change formations, we'll change formations. So I think there's still a lot to figure out of like once Champions League games start, once the FA and Carabao Cup are like in full swing, that's a lot of games to manage. But like, I think we have the depth that we can play 50, 60, 70 games this year.
Michael, everyone's raving about Richarlison, of course, scoring 2 fantastic goals, especially that second one against Burnley. But his work rate last week, closing down the goalkeeper for the second one, the cross, of course, for the first goal as well. How impressed have you been with Richarlison? I know some people tonight have said, you know, it's like having a brand new signing. We need this to continue, though, don't we? Because we have been wanting and wishing and hoping to see these types of performances and finishes from Richarlison in the last couple of years.
Oh, for sure. And I think, look, in an ideal world, Richarlison and Solanke are sharing the responsibilities, and they offer 2 different profiles. And I love Richarlison's work rate. I love his grit. I love that it's never enough. He was angry to come off after scoring those 2 goals because he wanted that third. Yeah, I mean, if he stays healthy, like I think that they're a great style of a great set of strikers for us because, like, look, it was amazing having Kane on the team and having that praise of like one of, if not the best striker in the world is on our team. But I think in the Spurs DNA, there is the player that has something to prove, that needs to like fight for people to say their name. And that sounds like Richarlison, and hell yeah, why shouldn't he do that for us?
Michael, what do you think will happen with Matisse Tell? Because he's a player that we've just signed on a permanent deal with for a hefty amount, I might add, from Bayern Munich. Everyone's talking about, you know, buying a new left winger. Matisse Tell, how does Thomas Frank manage his minutes? Because he is still a young player. A lot of people have given him a lot of criticism during his loan spell, and certainly, you know, during and after we've signed him on a permanent deal. What do you think will happen with him? Can Thomas Frank get the very best out of Matisse Tell, do you think?
Personally, like, I don't think we know what the very best of Matisse Tell looks like. We've seen sparks, we've seen glimpses. I think Frank will certainly improve him. And I think that's one area where we have a lot of depth, both now and in the future. So like, Brennan seems like he's firing on all cylinders from the left. Great. Let him keep scoring goals there. Kudus looks very happy on the right. Odegaard comes in, Tell comes in. I think that's fine. To be honest, like when it comes to signings, I'm way more concerned about the left back area because like Udogie's had it, or having just another flexible left or right back, because like we have Porro, Spence, and Udogie, and like that's pretty much it. If not them, then Ben Davies, who I love, but like is not a long-term answer. And so like I think that like you have to manage Tell's minutes. You have to give him time. And if you do that, he will come good. I truly believe he will come good. And then next year, Mikey Moore comes back after a year of playing top flight football in Scotland. Like, I just am not that worried about the left wing, especially with Simons. Like, then all of a sudden, once Kulusevski comes back and Madison comes back, there's all of this flexibility of players that can play out there, can drift into the middle. So I think Tell will come good, and I'm not overly concerned about that area.
Michael, do you think that there is still that concern, especially amongst the fan base, of not signing another left back, particularly how Jed Spence has kind of made that position his own? And like I said earlier, I don't know how Destiny Doggy gets back into this team with Jed Spence. You know, his performances have been fantastic, hence the England call-up.
Yeah, I don't know how you drop him when he's playing like that. It is his to lose. And like, look, we'll need backups, but like, I do think that's my like one deep area of concern. I wish we had kept Vuskovic, because like clearly a talent, clearly ready, and like would need time, but like it's an area that we're a little short on, especially until Dragusin gets better or gets fit. So yeah, those fullback areas are just like, we're a little light in that area, and it's a little concerning. But look, we have like 4 whole days of the transfer window left. There's plenty of time.
Plenty of time indeed. Michael, thank you so much. Before you go, what's your score prediction for Saturday?
I'm sorry to say, I think that we will let up a goal, but I'm still pretty confident we're going to win. I think it's going to be 3-1 us.
That'll do. That'll do. Any win will do. 3 points is 3 points. And honestly, to go into the international break, 3 wins out of 3 would be absolutely fantastic. And hopefully all of us are smiling during that international break and watching all of our players perform, do really well and come back injury-free. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Same. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers. Right. We're staying in America. We're now going to go to Terry. Terry, how are you?
I heard this crazy rumor that we signed Xavi Simons. There's no way that's true, right?
Honestly, you hear all the rumors and reports on this this channel, Terry, but this is absolutely true. Javi Simmons is a new Tottenham Hotspur player. He signed a long-term contract at the club. We're all absolutely delighted, and it's always great, Terry, to see you smiling when we've had some good news.
Yeah, you know, Chris, even after seeing the official Spurs announcement, I'm still having trouble believing it, right? Because we spoke at the last fan show. I think it was Sunday or Monday, and we were talking through possible number 10s, and we talked about Aguiush and El Canus, Paz. Xavi Simons wasn't even on the radar for anyone, right?
Because it wasn't seen as very realistic, was it?
No. And this is a guy I've seen for years and years. I mean, so I watched some Bundesliga because my son likes to watch Bayern Munich because he likes Kim Min-jae, and it gives me a chance to see Harry Kane play. And I almost see every Bayern Leipzig game. And even a couple of years ago, just remember seeing Xavi Simons, and he just has that stardust on him. So like, just he's one of those electrifying players that can make these plays and can make these passes where you're just like, wow. So, I mean, to me, he was. I don't want to say it. It's feel bad saying it, but I always felt like this was a type of player that was just above our level. Someone that just wasn't on the radar of someone we could get. And it seemed like, I mean, it seemed like Chelsea was going to get him. So for this to happen, I don't know, maybe the Morgan Gibbs White and Eze, all of that was meant to lead up to this, right? And maybe all those lessons learned, maybe Levy learned from that and jumped on it last night. It's shocking. Right when I signed off on Sunday or Monday, I told you that I was just going to go into the rest of the transfer window, assuming that we weren't going to sign anyone because we'd had so many disappointments. And you said something to the point of just expect the unexpected because it's Tottenham. And wow, this is unexpected. Yeah.
Do you know what though, Terry? I think it's fair to say we are the Europa League winners. So, if you want to move on and have that success again and win more trophies, we need players like this. We need signings like this. We need statement signings. And, fair play to Spurs, because we've gone out and bought Mohamed Kudus, at the start of the window for a lot of money. We've now spent a lot of money again on Javi Simmons, and we've signed, identified a really good signing in João Palhinha, who I know you're a big fan of.
Oh yeah.
I know I keep banging on about it, but 3 players that walk straight into this team. That is exactly what we needed, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just, not to dampen the excitement a bit, I do think we have to see how he adjusts to the Premier League. There are a couple of concerns about him. I think first and foremost, it's his official weight listed on the Bundesliga website is 58 kilograms, which equates to about 128 pounds or so. My 12-year-old son is almost 58 kilograms. So if that's true, he does look pretty small. He looks like he has a Madison type of build, but I'm curious to see how he's going to look on the field compared to some of the players on there. I think the closest comparison I would make would be, my gosh, he's slipping my mind. The 10 that just went to Liverpool from Leverkusen. No, the biggest signing, the midfielder. The record signing. My gosh, the German number 10, who's super exciting. You know who I'm talking about? Liverpool's new number 10.
My mind's gone blank now as well.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about, right? From Leverkusen, he was about to.
Yeah.
But he's had a couple of weeks where he's had trouble adjusting to the Premier League speed and the strength as well. So it's Florian Wirtz. My gosh, it's yeah. I think we're just I think we're punch drunk from the Xavi Simons excitement. So
it's been a long night and it's been a long transfer window.
Yeah, right. So I am a little concerned about the size. I am concerned that, he's been on PSG's books, or he was on PSG's books for a while, and he was constantly sent out on loan. So to not get in a run-in with them, that's a bit of a concern. However, if there's anyone who could make the most of his talents, and his talents are clear to see, you've got to think it's Thomas Frank, right? You've got to think he's on the right team. He's with the right opportunity. There's clearly a starting 11, maybe not every single week, depending on who the opponent is, but you could see a place for him. He's a super smart guy. I don't know if he speaks 5 different languages fluently, which is incredible. I liked the interview that we saw with him. It's some of the creativity of his passes. One of the ones that I saw live, it was a Travella pass from way deep that you see in his highlight packages that went way around the player, similar to what Son did. So and speaking of Son, my gosh, stepping right into that number 7 kid, huh? It had to be a superstar to take that number. You couldn't have just anybody take that number, right? And I feel like he's at that level where even Son would be like, all right, yeah, I approve. I approve that. So, gosh, it's exciting, Chris. It really is exciting.
Terry, does it change your expectation now for this season to sign someone like this at this caliber?
It does. It does. I still don't think we're going to be a Champions League. I don't see a top 4 though. I do. To me, if we got any European place, even a Europa Conference League place, to me that would be a successful season. So even a 7th would be, I would be happy with. Like I mentioned before, I think the band for the supercomputers was 7th to 14th. I think this could push us up into, closer to the 7th, possibly even a 6th place. Again, it's so early. We have so many games to go. The Champions League games haven't started yet. Although that draw is not quite what we thought it was, that was another surprise. Right? That was another surprise from this week. Wow, Bodo Glimt and Frankfurt again, huh? Gosh, it's
yeah.
But you've got to look at that draw and have hope about getting through to the next round, right? That's like that was the. I mean, before the season started, before we signed Simons, that would have just been the hope, just to get out of that group stage or that first phase, whatever they call that. Now you kind of start dreaming a bit, can't you? It's because you never know who you're going to get once you get to that knockout stage. And Chris, for you, what would be a success in terms of Champions League? Because I know we're all excited about the music and things like that, but we have to be realistic. Like we're not one of the best 8, 9, 10 teams in the Champions League. What would be success for you in the Champions League?
Terry, I said to you before, didn't I? Expect the unexpected. So, why not? Do you know? I said,
why not Budapest?
I said on a podcast last night that it must have been a fair few weeks ago. I think it was about 4 weeks ago. I looked at the flights to Budapest for that Champions League date, and it was about it was about 60 quid. So I booked it. I booked the flight. Do you think I wasted my money?
No, 60 quid. Budapest is beautiful, so it's even if it's not, that's it's.
I wouldn't be going. I wouldn't be going if Spurs aren't there.
Oh, really? Okay.
But like I said to you, expect the unexpected. You never know with Tottenham. And you know what? When I've done these sorts of weird things before, it's worked out quite often. So you never know.
Gosh, I hope you're right. I really do. My first time on this podcast, I said we would win the Europa League last year. Like first time on this podcast, and that happened. I'm not going to say that this year, but I'm hoping someone else says that this year, and I'm hoping to see you in Budapest and next year. That would be amazing. It's so you're not satisfied with just getting out of the group stage. You want to dream bigger.
No, in all seriousness, Terry, my hopes for this season would be Spurs finishing in a European spot of some kind.
Yep.
I'm not going to go as far as saying we're going to finish in the top 4 because I feel like there has been a lot of money spent in this transfer window. A record sum of money, by Premier League clubs. It's been huge, this transfer window, and there's 3 days to go still. So there's going to be a lot more money spent and a lot more strengthening of squads, and a lot of players moving around. But I'd love to see us win another trophy. I cannot stress that enough. That parade was just unbelievable. So whether it was an FA Cup, whether it was a League Cup, I'd take anything. And I just feel like when you have a set of players who have lifted that trophy in the Europa League, I think there'll be players like Romero now aiming and thinking, no, we want to win the FA Cup. If we're in this competition, we want to be winning it. And I'd love to see that attitude. I'd love to see a little bit of a difference in attitude amongst the football club, amongst the manager and the players themselves to really show that desire, that we can fight on all fronts and go and win a domestic trophy. Because let's face it, we won the Europa League in May, but we haven't won a domestic trophy since 2008. And I'd like to see that again. I'd like to, we haven't won an FA Cup since 91. It's absolutely crazy stats. I'd love to see that happen. And I'm sure, a lot of Spurs fans will feel the same, because there are a lot of us Spurs fans who love, Spurs going far in cup competitions. And, back in the day, Spurs used to just be known for being that cup team. So if we can go far and lift a trophy, then great. But the Champions League, you never, ever know, Terry. I tell you, that draw for Spurs yesterday is a really good draw, in my opinion. And you never know. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw PSG's draw. I don't know if it's because they're the defending champs, but my gosh, that what a nightmare draw for them. That is a tough one. Like, that's one where they're going to have to field their best players kind of week in and week out. They might have to field a weaker team in Liga to make up for that. So, but Chris, I think even if we don't win a cup this year, if we can keep the season going and have it feel like this now, where the team has this structure, this organization, where you feel like week to week, you don't really know what you're going to get in a good way. You don't know where we're going to score what, because you feel like we can score in a lot of different ways, whether it's set pieces, whether it's the midfielders, whether it's the forwards. Even if we don't win actual silver, if we can keep this level and get to European place, that's a great season. I mean, just think about how torturous week to week was last year, especially leading up to the end of the season. It was really, really, really tough. I mean, it feels so good right now. You feel so confident going into each game. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, because you just feel like having that coaching staff and Thomas Frank there and seeing these players playing for them the way that they are, you can't really ask for much more than that.
Do you know, Terry, do you know what the biggest statement of today is? The fact that no one in the comments have laughed the fact that I booked that flight.
No, that's great. Listen, for 60 quid, I don't know, what was that, like $80? That's a steal. That's a steal. That could easily get up to thousands and thousands if something magical happens. So
yeah. Terry, lastly, give me a score prediction for the Bournemouth game.
Things are just going too well. I don't. Being superstitious is unnecessary and unreasonable, and I try not to be superstitious, but we're Spurs fans, right? Like this week is almost going too well to the point where I feel like, when is this other shoe going to drop? I mean, you've got to think with
it doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't need to be like that. It can continue. It can.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. We're gonna present Simons tomorrow. Think about the reception that he's going to get. Like, we should win this. We really, really should. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I'm hoping we squeak this out. I just have this sinking feeling that it's going to be harder than we think it's going to be because of how the first couple weeks have been. I'm really curious. I heard you were talking about this with someone else, but I'm really curious what the lineup's going to be, because you have no idea. We don't even know what the formation's going to be. It could be a 4-4-3, but who knows with Thomas Frank. And I love that. I love that we don't. Not only do we not know who's going to play, we don't know what the formation's going to be. So,
pure entertainment. You don't know what you're gonna get, but we know that we're gonna see, a hard-working team give their absolute all, and hopefully we will see the 3 points. Terry, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers. Right, we're going to stay in America again, and we're going to go to a guy we haven't spoke to in ages. We're going to talk to Wes. Wes, where have you been? How are you?
Man, I have been, Chris, in school. I just started school my last semester. Well, my last 2 semesters. I'm a senior now in college, so that's what's been going on. It's been a whirlwind. Went up to New York for an internship for journalism. It's been a lot, but of course, always stayed and kept up with my favorite team in the world. We won the Europa League. I wasn't able to get on anybody's show to talk about how ecstatic that was that night in Bilbao, but you already know that you see that trophy behind you, so you already know the feeling that was. And now we've signed Xavi Simmons. Like, bro, what? We thought he was for sure going to Chelsea for 2 straight months. Chelsea has been all connected to Chelsea. We come in and get him in just over a night.
Yeah, that's incredible. How incredible is this signing, Wes? Because 22 years old, he's got a lot of experience already. Of course, we've seen experienced players come in the door already under Thomas Frank, the likes of Mohamed Kudus and João Palhinha. This is a real statement signing for Spurs, though, isn't it? Everyone's on a high today.
Yeah, very like a lot of people are saying like this is our biggest signing probably since Klinsmann back in the 90s. Like that it's kind of up there with buying a player that's on the up and not not getting a player that's like just a solid player or something like that. We got a player that's literally pretty much on that edge of being a world-class player and being super young. Like he's not going into his final years of being at that type of level. He's about to go into that. And we catched them early. A lot of times those kind of players, they go to the PSGs, the Bayern Munich, Chelsea, the Manchester Cities of the world and all that, and sometimes Real Madrid and Barcelona. So the fact that we got a player like that for once, it's like it's static. That's static. So it makes me feel better about what happened with the whole Eze situation a whole lot more, And plus, he was always supposedly a gooner when he was because he went there for academy and everything. So hey, whatever to that. The fact that we now got somebody who's pretty much still in the same caliber of player and he's younger, I'll take that. And he was cheaper, I'd take that in any day. Any day.
Wes, what else needs to happen in the next 3 days to put an even bigger smile on your face and make this transfer window a 10 out of 10?
That is the great question, Chris, because a lot of people are saying that the rumors are we're looking for a defender now. I don't know what they mean by defender. Are they meaning center back? Are they meaning a left back? To me, I think we should go for a backup left back to Udoji. I don't think we need a center back unless Frank is really up to playing a back three a lot of the time. And we just put out Vucevic on loan to Germany. So we don't. That's another center back that's out the door for this season. So it will make sense now that we're probably trying to bring more of a senior, I guess, center back to be in that rotation whenever Frank wants to play a back three. Because you see, he's the type of manager where he'll go to a back three, he'll go to a back four, according to who we're going against. So I don't know if we can. To me, if this plan is to do that back three a lot more, then of course we need to probably bring in another center back. But if not, I say we go for a backup left back and maybe another winger. I don't know how possible that's going to be, though. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people saying another striker. To me, I think I'm fine with Richarlison and Solanke, to be honest with you. And we got two other players that can play in that position as well, with Johnson. Even Tail could play in that position as well. Like, I don't really think we need another striker at this moment because we can have both of them up top as well if he plays a two up top. Like, there's a lot of different things he can do with the players you already have up there. But I say the wing position may be a key thing they may have to look at, or another backup left back.
Wes, what have you made of us defensively? I know we've kept 2 clean sheets out of 2 Premier League games so far, and of course conceded 2 in the Super Cup final against PSG. But what have you made of us defensively? And also, let me ask you about the captaincy now given to Romero.
I say our defense is actually looking pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. It hasn't really been nervy at all. I think the guys are really buying into Frank's system, and it's clear. It's showing with the first 2 Premier League games. Clean sheets in both of those games. We sadly in the cup game at the beginning of the season, that was it's a one-off game going against PSG. But we actually, if you look at most of that game, we defended very well against PSG because they were coming at us when we had that 2-goal lead, and at the end they were able to get through. But we did very good in that game. I think that showed already the plans he was already putting into the team that got them to play that way, and it started to bleed into the Premier League season. So it gives me very high hopes that this can continue. I think it can continue. I think against Bournemouth, I think it's going to be hopefully the same type of situation where we're going to defend very well, but we're still going to attack as well. So I see right now the defense to me is very good. Of course, as long as no other injuries occur, of course, because we can't have Romero or Van de Ven get hurt and stuff like that. We just can't. But as long as the players we have currently are healthy, I think our defense is going to be fine. Needs to be.
Well, what do you make of some of the depth that we have? Players like Wilson Odobert, players like Matisse Tel, who can come on, and you hope that they would change the game, and you hope when they get their starts, which might be rare actually this season, but you never know with injuries, suspensions, and various other issues. Matisse Tel, what do you make of the sign of Matisse Tel? Because he is a player that has been criticised. But we know that Thomas Frank can always get the best out of players. We know that he's young. We've seen glimpses of magic from him. But are you confident Thomas Frank can work with every player and get the very best out of them?
I do. For me, Tel, he's not a signing that I personally like. I'm be completely honest, and I think it showed when he shot the penalty. I hated the abuse he got because I'm a black man as well. I don't like, and you see that happening a lot to black players in the football world when they just don't rise to the occasion. Then they get the hate. It always happens though, because fans are very passionate. It happens sadly, but I still hate to see him get that abuse. But to me, I still don't think he's at the level of player that we really wanted. But I do see a little potential, but I really don't know what he does or even what his actual position really is right now. Before at Bayern Munich, he was a striker, then he was playing left wing a little bit, then he played behind the striker a little bit as a second striker. I just don't know where he's at and where he can actually do something for a team yet. And I think that's where Frank will have to probably find out where he needs to put him for him to be successful. I still have belief in him because he's a Tottenham player, but right now I'm not the craziest over Tell right now. I'm really not. But hopefully he can change my mind and maybe even some other fans' mind as well, because I'm sure a lot of fans have the similar agreements to me as well. But I hope the best for him. I hope somehow he can do something for us and be a real spark off the bench. He has quality. He has some qualities in him. You saw that when I think he was playing for the under-21s for France or something like that, and he was playing very well then. So you see there's potential there. I just wish he can show it in a Tottenham shirt.
Wes, what about Brennan Johnson? What have you made of him? Because he's a player that's scored in both of our Premier League games so far.
Brennan Johnson, a lot of people get on him because he maybe doesn't have like the coolest dribbling and all that kind of stuff. Like he doesn't do all the fancy tricks and stuff like that. One thing he very good at from the get-go was positioning. His positioning and his IQ, knowing where to be on the pitch is like you can't really teach it sometimes. Actually, he just knows where he needs to be to get in a good position to score or make something happen. And I like that in a player. I think that's actually good for a striker position as well. Sometimes you just got to be in the box at the right place to be able just to do a one-time hit and get a goal. Sometimes we need that sometimes, and I think Brennan Johnson brings that, and I think he does very well with just keeping possession of the ball at least, because he doesn't really try nothing too crazy. He knows that's not him at this moment. Maybe he'll get more and more into his own game, more and more into the team. Maybe he'll get like that sooner or later, be like a Kudus in a sense, or start trying new things. But for now, he does very well what he's good at, and I'm fine with that because we need players like that that's just good at positioning, good at being at the right place at the right time, and scoring goals. And he has a knack of scoring goals for us at good times. So I can't ever just disagree with that. Everybody can say about he's not the dribbler and all that, like Kudus or something like that, but he does the job and he gets the ball in the net a lot of the time.
Whereas lastly, what's your expectation of this season? What is the absolute minimum that Spurs must do, in your opinion, to make you feel happy as a fan and to make you feel like there has been progress made?
For me, I think this year it's an interesting year. I don't know how deep we're getting in Champions League. Champions League is a behemoth. Anything can happen. I do, of course, always have belief that somehow we can get through, just like we got to the Europa League. I had a feeling we were going to win that cup last year. I want to be surprised if we somehow get there in the Champions League. I just don't. I never go back on Spurs like that. But I do think realistically, I think we can hit like a top 6, top 7 in the Premier League. I do think that's possible. We're already off to a good start with there. And I do believe we can do something domestically. You already said we have not won an FA Cup since 1991. Yeah. That's ridiculous. That's not, we can't let that sit there. No, we need to go ahead and end that. Just like we end the drought, we can end that drought as well. I think that, and then of course the League Cup. I think the League Cup that's another one that should be the easiest to get to a final. That's the easiest one to get to, especially with the team we have now, with the players we have to our advantage now. We should be looking at getting to the league final pretty much every season, because all the other big clubs they can easily get there as well. So we should be looking at it as well. So those 2 domestic cups, I would like to see us go at. Of course, do as well as we can in the Champions League. But of course, it's a behemoth. We never know. But hey, we're gonna put our full, I'm sure, 100% in it. And then of course, Premier League, I can see a top 6, top 7 finish is a good start to the Thomas Frank era. And I know I didn't get a chance to talk to Odebear. Odebear has all the talent in the world. I think he's one of the more ones that are more ready to have an impact on his team now than even Tell. So I have a high hopes on Odebear. But yeah, for the overall season, I can see us finishing top 6, top 7 in the Premier League, go after one of the domestic cups or both.
Wes, I've missed you on these shows. You're going to have to come back very soon.
Oh yeah, you already know, Chris. Just let me know, and you already know I will come on for the 2-hour show. Just let me know. Let me know.
Fantastic. Well, great to talk to you again. Have a great weekend. And actually, before you go, your score prediction for tomorrow
against Bournemouth. Okay, let's see. I'll go for 2-0. I want to keep that clean sheet. 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Everyone's gone for a win this evening on the show. So,
why not? Why not?
Yeah, and why not? Exactly. I love your energy. Right, Wes, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
All right, see you, Chris.
Cheers. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to every single person that has come on the show this evening. It's been a pleasure talking about all things Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, we can talk about Tottenham for hours, but it's great to go all around the world to talk to so many fans and get their views, particularly on the signing of Javi Simmons and, of course, Jed Spence being called up to the England squad the first time by Thomas Tuchel. Spurs face Bournemouth on Saturday. Let's hope that we can get another win over the line and go into the international break 3 wins out of 3. If you would like to appear on a future fan show, please do send me an email. It's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and it'll be great to talk to you. I don't need to ask any questions. You can just come on and talk about exactly what you want to talk about. It's totally up to you. At the end of the day, these fan shows are all about the fans expressing their views, opinions, it's very important to talk to people how they feel about everything. Let's hope that Spurs can beat Bournemouth on Saturday. We will be back with the Spurs Chat podcast straight after the game, where I'll be joined by 3 guests as per usual. And stay safe and well, everyone. Keep smiling and come on, you Spurs.